Well, sorry about that, people. How about that? Yeah, so I have a notification for people. People have been wondering what has been going on of my long-term thing. It has been made public now that Katie Jory Paulson has been served in a $50,000 plus punitive damages lawsuit for defamations against me. She has threatened a countersuit, which is fine. There's no countersuit that she can possibly have. I have evidence for everything, that everything was non-malicious, that everything I've said, and based upon other people's comments. So yes, I have I've hired 2 attorneys at a very reputable law firm, and we have launched a complaint against her for defamation per se for the numerous allegations.
But anyways,
against me.
Let's harass her right now. I want to harass her right now, okay?
Finding of the DAWA, abusing her.
Penis.
I'm so offended. You didn't ask my consent.
Penis.
But you know what? You have my consent for everything.
She is being
No, but I'm
sued.
saying it
We
to
have
her, and I
accountable
didn't
for
give
trial
her my
charges
consent.
and
If
punitive
she
damages.
watches this video, now I've assaulted her.
But she has put out that she has been served. I'm not releasing the complaint yet. Only a few people have actually seen it. But yes, I am suing Katie Jory Paulson, as I said I was going to, and I keep my promises.
I just though. I mean, just.
I have every intention of doing a Goblin Reads / Dumbfect Friday, whichever one applies better to the. I'm just gonna do a marathon, and I'm gonna read through all of it.
Well,
I cannot wait.
Tell you,
Yeah, I mean,
spicy.
look, as long as it's.
I love it.
I have overwhelming evidence of
We're gonna play the
defamation
game.
per
Whose
se.
penis
They
is
took
this?
this case.
But anyways,
immediately.
Let's harass her right now. I want to harass her right now, okay?
I'll talk more
Penis.
about it.
Penis.
I'm so offended. David, you didn't ask my consent.
Growing up where I grew up, this, that, and the other. I did too when I was young. It was just lingo. And then we started thinking, hey, this is kind of offensive. We're not going to do anything. And instead of people.
The same way. You have no idea of being a victim that KJ is going to utilize that and go after you or go and attack you for being a victim. Right. And that's what but that's not happening from any place else, right? So but there's another layer to this, and it's that if it's unfortunate, but if a victim wants to be heard, they need to be public about it. A lot of the time, because a lot of police records are public, especially depending on where you live, and it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. And so if you bring your victimhood up for conversation, it's going to be scrutinized, because by bringing it up, you're asking people to scrutinize about it. So your re-victimization of people talking about this in KJ's case is because she wants to be. She wants to be the victim. She wants to be. She wants to be the victim. She wants to be. She wants to be the victim, and not everybody has trauma the same way.
Yes, they were talking about her R. That video clip are the people suing Katie for defamation. And for some reason, they don't think that Katie's going to walk into a courtroom and put down on the public record them talking about how when Katie got R'd, she wanted to be the victim. Now wait. Please. I want you to really focus on this point, okay? I'm not even going to start my show yet. I'm not even going to talk all animated or argue with my crackhead assistant. I'm coming at you as me, Jason, okay? They're going to go into a courtroom where she's going to have an option, which I would take if I were her, immediately, to play video clips about the person suing her and his friends discussing how when she got R'd, she wanted to be the victim. Oh, you think I'm just UNIRocking this, do you? Let's listen. Let's listen to this for just a second. Because I'm just as baffled as all of you that this just happened. That Steve just sued Katie for defamation. Most of you are saying Uni just misspoke. It was actually Katie that sued Steve for defamation. No, Steve didn't get away with enough. He didn't get away with hundreds of instances of defamation, hundreds of instances of harassment. He needs to take it to the limit. This dude he's crazier than a skydiver. He wants that rush more. He gets his rush from harassing people and then walking into a courtroom and suing them for harassment and defamation. Now, don't worry how court works. Katie gets to file countersuit, and then they both get to show the evidence. The problem is, I've seen every bit of evidence in this case. Most of you guys know this about me. Lauren says, I hope Katie sues Steb for his 50% of the non-sec. Then she can stream her victory stream from that channel while they all cry and rage. Good point. I hope so too, Lauren. I just want you to know, though, I had a main channel. Had about 40,000 subs. And when YouTube got demonetized, I started live streaming full-time and not really uploading as much. Now you know I upload and I live stream 50%. But the point is, one of the main reasons that I started uploading more is because he asked me to cover him versus Katie. Literally, the video that he wanted me to do was him versus Katie. So I have to stress that for anyone out there who may have forgotten or that these guys lie to, this is recorded. They can't deny. They asked me to cover this. And here we are now. I'm baffled. I'm shocked. It's like this dude just robbed a bank and got away with it for 2 years. So now he's walking into court trying to sue the dude that owns the bank, saying, I stubbed my toe and I ran away with that money. I'm suing this guy. I don't know. I mean, This guy's lost it. Let's listen to this clip. So you're going to stand next to her, across from her in a court of law, claiming to the judge that she defamed you, that she harassed you, when this is a recent clip of them arguing. She wants to be the victim of her R-ing. She wants it. She wanted to be the victim. She wanted it. The R-ing, so she could be the victim. That's what they're saying. Listen.
I have no idea if KJ has kept up at night
Don't even act like he's not agreeing with this, because he's uh-huhing the whole time.
about this. You think she is because that's happened to you. And that doesn't devalue that it's something that's happened to you, but how could you possibly know that KJ is being woken up at night by night terrors over
her R-ing?
The things being brought up that she brought up. And at the same time, she has nobody to blame but herself in that regard.
She's got no one to blame but herself for that vicious R-ing.
Yeah, you're what you're doing is you're taking your
That's
emotional.
very fair.
You're just
I completely disagree with them. I think she can blame the dude that did it. I'm not with them now. Don't think I'm on their side just because I criticize Katie, because I do criticize Katie. This may be a shocker to some people, but I can criticize Katie and still be able to witness the harassment that she gets from this group of people, okay? So, of course, no, I haven't changed sides. I know, look, the one thing I do too much of is explain things to you guys. I still criticize Katie, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to criticize them. Did you hear what I just played? Let me just go ahead and play it again. A little more context.
Fair to this, and it's that
because you can get all the context in the world. It ain't going to help this.
If it's unfortunate, but if a victim wants to be heard, they need to be public about it a lot of the time.
No shit, Sherlock. Do you just say things to say them?
Because a lot of police records.
If you want to be heard, you got to talk. Sounds must come out of your mouth if you want people to hear the sounds.
Are public. Especially depending on where you live. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. And so if you bring your victimhood up for conversation, it's going to be scrutinized, because by bringing it up, you're asking people to scrutinize about it.
That's just not true, by the way. That's not true.
So your re-victimization.
Now, it is true if you want to scrutinize what she said, but it doesn't mean that you get to go pull police reports by lying to the cops. You guys know, okay, you know what happened? Oh, you don't. Some of you may not. They told the cops they weren't going to use her R report for commercial use. They read it, and then they got criticized by even their own people. Their own side, even they lost people. And that's hard for them to do when they've only got like 12 people. They lost people because they read the R report and identified the protective witness, Katie, so that they could try to make it look like she lied using just the report, just the police report. So that all, it doesn't matter, because then they tried to say that she wanted to be the victim of it. She wanted. Now, you do know, when you're the victim of an R-ing, it means you got R'd. And if you want to be the victim of an R-ing, it means you wanted to be R'd. There's no way around that. Okay? So I don't want to be, nobody better say I'm taking them out of context. I am providing all the damn context.
People talking about this in KJ's case is because she wants to be. She wants to be the victim, and not everybody has trauma the same way.
So she's trying to say, because not everybody is traumatized by an R-ing or a murmur or a 3-year-old getting a boo-booed, because not everybody is traumatized by it. You can't sit and tell us that what we did was wrong. They are above criticism. The worst things you could possibly do in the world, they're above the criticism, even if they do those things.
You have no idea if KJ has kept up at night about this.
Hey guys, welcome to the stream. I don't know how to break the news to any of you that may not know, but in case you don't know, Steve literally served Katie. It's a little convoluted. I'd love to have Menace and Navy jump in the staging room if they wanted to. They don't have to, but if they wanted to. Because, honestly, I am so fucking tired of this, dude. This has gone so far. Don't even tell me this hasn't gone too far, that it's not going far, that it's not a... when people told me that this story would not be worth covering, they had no clue that after signing an NDA, admitting that he can't fight the evidence, that he's signing the NDA because he can't fight the evidence at the hearing, and this was admitted by Ruhif. Well, you just don't know if the judge is going to agree with the evidence, so we had to sign the NDA just in case the judge agreed with all that evidence. So you can't fight the evidence, so you sign the NDA. That means you can't fight the evidence. So then, now though, after the NDA expires, you have a master plan. You're going to wait for the NDA to expire to sue her. You're not going to go to the hearing, battle the evidence, and then sue her. That would just be logical and make sense. You're going to sign an NDA, wait for it to expire, lie about it the entire time it's enacted, and lie about it when it's expired, and then you're going to sue her afterwards. Now, some of you are going to be confused. You're going to say to yourself, it's really confusing what's happening here, so I'm confused. But you won't be the only ones. Now, my job tonight is going to be to unconfusify you, which I will do very quickly and easily, because we pretty much have most of all the details. If there's one thing that McCrazy Pants is, it is an open book. Also, I would love any of my audience members who have video clips of him harassifying Katie to please get those clips to my mods so that we can then play them here. I've got a certain set of clips that I always play for you when some cult member out there says, he's not a bad guy, he's the good guy and has bad things done to him. Or when they try to call me a liar or something, and I have a bunch of clips that show I won't say the worst stuff he's done, but a lot of the bad stuff he's done to her. So I've already got those prepared. You guys know what I show when people try to restream me showing the stuff I'm showing tonight or whatever. And of course, we're going to be showing you some of the worst clips that he's ever done towards her. So you're going to see repeated video a little bit tonight, just because I don't know, who cares, whatever. This is stupid. I want to play Tarkov. Though, we've got a surprise for you, because we've got, oh really? Here is the fast top 10 list of lies that Katie has falsely accused Steve of. So we're going to give you his top lies. Also, I'm going to try to get the squad familam to drop me the things that he says are the reasons he's suing Katie into the general room or the current live stream room, so that I can literally tell you, because he did a stream and he tells us what we're actually, oh, Navy's in here. Yeah, boy. Navy's in here. So we're going to go over this with Navy, and we're going to react to some of these videos. So we've got an announcement video. That's Menace's. That's the name of Menace's video, is announcement. The announcement. Let me just show you that right here. Let me turn off Entitlement Spamulator Cult Edition Part 2. They are talking about her R. So actually, we're going to change this to Silverfish Sues KJP. That is the title of Entitlement Spamulator Cult Edition Part 2. That's the stream you're watching right now. Silverfish Sues KJP. We're going to be watching Menace's The Announcement. I will introduce to you my good friend Navy in 2 seconds after I share this, so he can watch along with me. And I'll make sure Navy's unmuted. And he goes, Navy, what's up, dude? What's up?
Not
dude?
much, Bubba. What's going on?
We're here for, this is the Gladiator Coliseum event. This is the World Series. This is the Olympics. This is the Super Bowl of lol suit skeeziness. We are here for Silverfish suing KJP. Can you believe it, Navy? Can you believe that he sued her?
You know, there's a bunch of things over the last couple of months I never would have thought would have happened. So I guess no, I can't believe it, but I guess I can't now because things have been crazy.
I agree with you. I can't believe he did, because he has done Like, all the worst clips that he has are not just now immortalized on YouTube. They are going to be used in the countersuit against him for $500,000. KJ's announced a countersuit against him for $500K. Did he say the amount of money he's suing Katie for? Did he ever announce? Do you know, Navy?
Yeah, I think it was 50,000.
50? He's going for 50 and she going for 500. I'm going to tell you this much. I don't know if he's going to get awarded his 50,000. I doubt it. I would go as far as to say the chances of him losing are 99.999999 going on into infinity. Though Katie, her chances of winning are 99.9999 going on into infinity. So maybe they both are going to win, and that way Katie will just end up getting 450,000, right? So either way, Katie's winning this shit. And we're going to show the audience why Katie is going to win this, but go ahead.
I mean, literally all she has to do is walk in there with one piece of paper, the signed TRO by a judge. I mean, I don't know what else she would need. A judge believes her. She's showing it to another judge in the same state.
Yeah, they will be able to just walk in, put down the TRO, and say, because Steve has lied himself into believing his own lies. He still thinks, or he's still lying at least, about the fact that the TRO, he says, was not a real RO. And I've figured out his argument, and we'll talk about this for 2 seconds before we get going. He says that the TRO was thrown out in like 2 weeks or something. Therefore, it wasn't a real RO. We all saw the RO, read the RO, and know we've studied the Minnesota law. We've shown it here. If it would have favored Steve, we would have allowed it to favor Steve. Though we know that the TRO was actually a 2-year TRO. The only reason it was thrown out, like you said, is because he signed an NDA. And that NDA factually restrained him, not just in the same way that the TRO did, but it also restrained him more than the TRO. Therefore, you can't make the argument that by you signing that paper, you're not restraining yourself against Katie. You get what I'm saying there? Like, legally speaking. I mean, semantically speaking, he's trying to say, if the ROs aren't exactly the same, it's not an RO. But even the NDA is an RO because it's an order, and it's a contract, an order, and it restrains him from all the things in the RO, plus even speaking about her in certain ways, which is more than an RO. We're in Crazy Town, Navy. It's finally went full LOL suit. Yeah,
no, 100%. And the thing is, and people are in the chat are pointing out, I think Garth pointed out too, that this isn't even in his like suit against her isn't even in the court because of the way he did it. It was basically like, from what I understand, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, you can correct me if I'm wrong too. What he did was, it was more like an intent to sue, but it served in the same way, and she still has a response.
Kind of, you're right. Now luckily Menace has hooked us up with a video that he edited together that he did just for us on this stream, and it goes over everything. It's like 12 minutes of his announcement to sue Mrs. Katie, and it is very great because it doesn't just pull clips from his video. It's under fair use, and on top of all that, it gives us little text boxes in between the clips that give us more of a breakdown and context. So he looks up the definition of things. He talks about the facts of what's going on. Also, if you're in my chat, I'm doing something unheard of due to the craziness of announcing the announcement that Steve is suing Katie. I'm going to give you guys 2 million rocks because it's going to be a crazy night. Also, I'm not streaming late. Telling you all now, I'm not streaming late. You know that typically means I will be streaming until 9 a.m. tomorrow. I'm just playing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I've got 2 million rocks loaded. You know what you got to do if you want those rocks. You got to type in the live chat or emoji sometime in the next 30 seconds to get the rocks. I'm going to let you guys do that. Me and Navy, I guess, are going to be breaking this down. Of course, listen, this is what we're going to do, Navy. I'm taking this down to the gaming room. We're going down to gaming. Are you cool with that?
Oh, let's do it.
All right. So let's get down to gaming. We're in the gaming room, And let me go ahead and tag the peeps in Discord, because I don't even, like, this is too much. I don't even care. You know I want the memes. You know I want everything you got. We are in gaming, streaming tonight. Come talk if you want. No pressure, though. Streaming in gaming. And I'll share that. Oh, baby, the memes are so spicy. My God, we've got Dr. Memes and the memer down under both making the memes. Let's show you some of the memes we've got from the peeps. You've only got a few more seconds for the 2 million rocks. No harassment allowed. Silverfish. Silverfish. The sign won't stop me because I can't read. We've got, let me go ahead and frame this up. The only step you need to take when a silverfish starts speaking. Really good. And when you should have just taken the loss a long time ago. Silverfish. I didn't hear no bell. And that song, that's the South Park where it's like, you're the best around. No one gonna ever take you down. That's so good, dude. Okay, here we go. It's crazy time. It's crazy town. Not only is the Silverfish suing KJP, KJP has announced a response countersuit that's going to shake the world. It's going to shake the internet world. Also, we've got a stupid stream scheduled where they claim that Steve is not a misogynist. Cheshire went on a damage control stream that no one's ever seen before yesterday on her show. And other cult members are out trying to repair his broken reputation because in their minds, this is going to bring him back. This is going to give him all the things he's lost. Why? Because the evil UNIRock, the evil Menace to Sobriety, and the evil KJP, Nate the Lawyer, and many others, Ethan, Exiled, Fiona, they all lied on Steb. And it's all of them and the rest of the tens of thousands of people that are crazy. It's not the Silverfish. So here comes the payout right now. 2 million rocks. World record rock payout here at rockAlot just paid out. And me and Navy, I'm going to mute us for a minute, Navy, so we can get into this, and then we'll be right back in. Of course, if we've got any of this, the Tarkov peeps, any of the other peeps in the Discord, make sure you jump in to gaming if you want to hang out with us and talk to us. This is the dumbest stream I've ever done. 8/17 of 2021. I actually have to give a disclaimer. I've got to say something before we get started. Because at one point, me and the Silverfish, we got along. And we were YouTube pals. We were the kind of people where sometimes he would beg me to come on my stream or ask me to come on his. And I would go and I'd talk with him and be friendly because I felt sorry for him. And I said this on Periscope earlier today. Even with all this happening to him now, he's even more, in my mind, in my eyes, pitiful than he was. I don't know how to, it's not an insult. That's me saying, like, the pity I felt for him back then was an astronomical amount. But now the pity I feel for him is times 100, times 1,000 from what it was originally. But the issue is, I can't feel it. I can't sense it. I know that the pity's there, but because of his actions, I have no pity. It's like when you find out that somebody murdered a kitten. You find out that somebody did something really fucked up. And you're like, well, you know, that person may be homeless and going through a lot of stuff, and I feel bad, but I don't feel bad. And that feeling, I've never had it taken to such an extreme as right now while looking at what he's doing to her, because I can only say that he's broken with reality. He acts like we all have this malicious thing against him. And that's been created in his mind. We're just YouTubers. He's given us too much power over him. He's given us too much control. We're just people giving our opinion out here. We're just YouTubers. We aren't the enemy. We aren't these horrible people that you say we are. We just have fun, give our opinion, and laugh and joke at the craziest situations we've ever seen somebody get themselves in on the internet. And now I truly feel he has doomed himself. And I'll explain that all right now. Broadcasting from the East Coast of the glorious United States of America, this, woof, that was a lot, is UNIRock. My God! Okay. First things first, I need the gaming room there. Perfect. Looks like we got Menace. Looks like we got Navy. Are you guys ready for this insanity?
Let's do it.
All right. Here we go. You're going to want to double click the live stream in the gaming room because we're going to watch this together. And here we go. Got the music busy.
Well, sorry about that, people. How about that?
All right, let's boost the volume a little bit. And here we are.
Yeah, so I have a notification for people. People have been wondering what has been going on with my long-term thing. It has been made public now that Katie Dory Paulson has been served in a $50,000 plus punitive damages lawsuit.
All right, first things first. Cheshire, are you going to be laughing like that when Steve is in a dire situation over this thing? Are you going to be giggling like that? Like, here's my take.
So creepy.
Menace, it is. Menace Navy, I've got a take on this. I think that she and her friends around him, and even possibly Mr. Chrisley, have talked Steve into doing this. And I think he's not thinking about the consequences. Do you think he doesn't think there's any consequences?
Well, I mean, he did respond back to her countersuing him by saying he didn't have any assets. So, yeah.
We're about to hear that. Let's keep going.
For defamations against me. She has threatened a countersuit, which is fine. There's no countersuit that she can possibly have. I have evidence for everything, that everything was non-malicious, that everything I've said, and based upon other people's comments.
All right. First things first, Menace cuts to, I've got everything for everything that I said was non-malicious, everything I said based upon other people's comments. He thinks that if he can prove somebody DM'd him something, then he can get up on his show and repeat it over and over and over and over and over, right? Which is just not true.
That's exactly it. He thinks if he can show that his air quotes information came from somebody else, then he did not defame her.
Seems like a really dumb kind of reason to go with as a defense against harassment and defamation. Also, I'm going to read your next part. Important takeaway. Steve thinks he's safe from a defamation suit because the things he said were based off of what others said. Therefore, if anybody defamed Katie, it would be the original poster and not Steve. And I'm going to go ahead and cheat because I know that you call back to this thing as it goes. And you say you'll need to remember this point momentarily. I'm going to cheat because I'm going to bring it up. Steve, if it's true that you are out of all of the malicious things you did, just because somebody else took it to you, what about sharing her address, which there are many people that have turned into, there are new people that we did not know about have come forward with DMs from McRae showing that he shared her address, attempting to convince people while sharing her address that Katie ran a fraudulent fundraiser. Not like when we accused people of it, having the evidence they did it first. He didn't have any. He basically was just saying it. And this is before anything came out against Red's rhetoric. Kind of weird. Almost like he knew fraudulent fundraisers were going on and it made him paranoid about hers. Either way, though, why is that not a defense for anyone that says something about you, Steve, if it's a defense for KJP? We're going to keep going now.
So, yes, I have I've hired 2 attorneys at a very reputable law firm.
I don't believe him, Menace Navy. I don't believe he's hired 2 attorneys at a very reputable law firm. I think he was loaned a couple attorneys. Great point. How?
My question is that if he had these 2 attorneys and has all this money to hire these attorneys, then why didn't he actually serve her an actual lawsuit and not an intent to sue or whatever it did?
And yeah, and that's coming up, and Menace explains it really well. So we'll hit that when we get there. Though, and you said it a minute ago, he said he had no assets. You can't say you've got the money to hire 2 reputable attorneys and at the same time claim you have no assets. So this would say to logical people, maybe you just have people holding your money. Maybe you're using like a rich person in Australia's money. Or maybe Todd Chrisley, a famous celebrity, loaned his lawyers to you. Though, these are things he'll say as defamation about him later on. That UNIRock said that it could have been this, or this, so that's defamation. This is literally what he does. Though, by what he says here, there are only certain conclusions that can be reached. See, so basically, he's really broke because he paid for those attorneys. Well, if that's true, how are you going to keep paying them? Well, then you do have assets to pay Katie because you've got assets, a pool of money set back to continue suing Katie. Navy, nothing that he says makes sense, does it?
No, not at all.
It's almost like he's being dishonest. I'm just saying.
We have launched a complaint against her for defamation per se, for the numerous allegations he had against me, for accusing me of fraud, for sexual harassment, filing under the VAWA, abusing a child, everything that I've said for the longest time.
All right. Menace makes the point, fraud, SH, filing under VAWA, blanking a child. Now, got to do it. It's happening. We're bringing up this tweet because he's the one that led into it. We're going to bring it up now. This tweet is a 2-part tweet, a 2-part tweeterooski. So we're going to read this out to you, and we're going to go through every one of the 10 things that he claims KJP is lying about him on. Now, if I was able to prove many of these are bunk as fuck with hard evidence right now, and then even prove to you the rest of them are bunk as fuck, waiting on more clips to come in from the YBI. Hopefully they'll get them to me in the bottom of the general room throughout the night. If that was the case, then maybe wouldn't Navy, you think, Menace, that he should come out and correct himself, maybe drop his lawsuit? What do you think he should do if we can debunk his top claims against her? What would you say? What's the ethical thing?
Well, the ethical thing would be to apologize and correct his wrongs, of course. I mean, that's what he expects everybody else to do. We've seen him harping on Waxy and Katie Joy a little over a year ago.
Okay, great. I agree with you. I think he would too. So I'm going to play a clip after I read this, And we are going to literally debunk every one of these. Here we go. He says, never lie. Oh, really? Here is just a fast top 10 list of lies that she falsely accused me of. So speaking of KJ, he is. Number 1 is fraud. Number 2 is Medi-Cal fraud. Number 3 is security fraud. Number 4 is disability fraud. Now, you guys know, if you've been around this channel when we've talked about any of this stuff, you guys know what I'm going to play for you. And I apologize having to play these things for you guys again.
Can I say something right fast about that?
You sure can.
All right. So this is for Silverfish, because he's listening and we know he's watching, right? When you're going to list out things like that and you put out an overall title like fraud and you list out the kind of fraud underneath it, it goes A, B, C.
Yes.
Because it goes underneath fraud because you just basically said fraud 4 times. So you can't just say she accused me of fraud and then medical fraud. Well, it goes under fraud, Bubba.
And this is why I feel he's trolling and he's lying. And this is all just a big fake ploy for attention from me, from other YouTubers. He's already conned people, Truth Sleuth and others, into covering this just bullshit, fallacious ass mess. Either way, though, we've got important hangouts. Sorry about this. And I just hate playing this clip again, because this clip gets played so often because after I had criticized Steve in December of 2019 and caused the great boom flapping of 2020, this clip came to surface in about January or February and exploded the non sequitur situation. Once this was popularized around the non sequitur community, 99% of everybody knew that they'd been lied to by Steve McRae. It was one of the first major pieces of damage against his brand, the Steve McRae brand, after, of course, the fake screenshots and fake email fiasco of December 2019. So just so you know, relating to non-sec, this decimated his support. Take a listen.
Everybody's business. Okay.
I think it's everybody's business.
It's not on this stream.
Is everybody's channel relate to a lot of people. I consider them family. I consider the live chat family. I consider the Patreons family. These are people that are my friends. These are people that respect their opinion. We talk to them, right? We have a huge following that like both when I'm on and Kyle on, sometimes to Kyle, sometimes me.
You're being too kind calling it huge. It was not big at all.
You can't please everybody, right? Okay, but we build it to be that way, Shannon.
Yeah. Also, let me just read something from the chat that I think speaks volumes. Maybe Steve McRae would do more for the show if he got paid in all caps. He has to do other channels to make the fucking money. I was a patron to support Kyle and Steve in all caps.
Will you quit with the soy reds? All caps, all caps. Okay. So basically, Shannon's going to come in and ask Steve if Kyle Curtis stole from Steve. Shannon does this because Reds and Steve would not stop saying that Kyle stole from Steve, and Shannon knew the truth. Steve admits that Kyle never stole from him and admits that, yes, the Social Security / Medi-Cal fraud accusation comes from his own words. So I apologize for playing this clip for all of you again, but he's the one bringing it up in a lawsuit, for fuck's sake. This is why everyone thinks he's so fucking crazy. Go ahead, please.
I just dropped a 6-second clip in general as well. You can play that right after this clip because they go together.
Will do. Here we go.
So, Steve, did Kyle give you the opportunity to have money, but you weren't able to take it because you were on Social Security or veterans pension?
So there's your first yes. Once the entire community heard Steve say this, and they did back then, Katie can repeat this without it being anything wrong because he said it. But let's let him finish just for the fuckity of it.
And it would have affected that. And Kyle didn't. Because you're making it seem as though Kyle withheld money from you.
No, make this very clear.
He didn't steal from you?
Kyle said he would talk to me how it could be distributed. I asked him, okay, that's fine. Let's talk about how you're going to get it to me. He has never once told me how he's going to get it to me. He's never offered to have a discussion of how he's going to get it to me. I said, Kyle, that's fine.
Oh,
Let's figure out how you're going to get it to me. I thought he was going to bring it to me in October when we have this meeting in October. He can bring cash to me.
Now, when you get paid cash from someone, when they're trying to pay you on your TIN, your tax identification number, the correct way, the legal way, and instead you say, no, pay me cash. It is accurate for people then to say, sum up that event, you wanting to get paid under the table. So that'll handle his other claims, because he's eventually going to say, they accused me of being paid under the table. We didn't accuse you of that. You admitted it. We didn't accuse you of Medi-Cal fraud, security fraud, disability fraud, or fraud. You did it. You said it. You announced it to the world while you were attacking Kyle in front of 2,000 people. So I'm sorry, dude. You did this. This is on you. Though, wait, that's not all.
I started all those things and put in.
You guys can't hear this, but I'm playing the clip, so hold on.
I started all those things and put it into his name because of financial things, because because of my medical, which he knows.
Oh my God, did Steve just say I had to put things into Kyle's name because of my Medi-Cal? So if someone then says, that's illegal, that's called Medi-Cal fraud, you can't accuse him of defamation. He said this like 28 times in different live streams and uploads. So again, we just debunked 1 through 4. But just in case he wants to get spicy with us, here's his DMs with Kyle Curtis, proving that this is why he said these things. This is the first event. You see, this is one thing that I call Steve a lolcow. It's because he puts out all of his private stuff. He puts out every detail of his life. And then if somebody commentates on it, he accuses us of harassment and shit. Though he thinks it's okay for him to cyber stalk the living fuck out of people, dox people, harass people, lie on people, and somehow it's not harassment. Literally, that's the basis of his lawsuit. Take a look at the screen. Let me break this down. Kyle says, I'm filing for tax reasons. Have you ever filed for a tax identification number? I told you I can't make a certain amount or I lose my Medi-Cal, which is why I wanted to look it over. So we even have the damn God-forsaken DMs, man. I don't know what else to do, Steve. You can't convince yourself of your lies over a 2-year period and then sue somebody. If you want to convince yourself of your lies and then live in a dream world, fine. But when you try to usurp someone else's rights by suing them because you've convinced yourself of your lies, people have to talk about it. Because he's trying to hey Navy, hey Menace, he's trying to crowdfund this lawsuit because he has no assets. Did you hear about that?
Oh, yeah.
Yepers.
Yeah. And we're about to hear about that too. So the next claim from the nuclear Stebenstein is that Katie accused him of SHing. Do I have to play the clip of him admitting to SHing Katie? Again, for God's sake, Steve. Okay, fine. It's not like I'm ready for all this because, I don't know, we have all these clips ready anyway because I'm making a video on this situation, so it's not going to hurt me to play them again. But my God, dude, do you realize how fucking boring and repetitious this is? Let's go ahead and get this one out of the way. Let's demonetize this stream right now. And if you want to support us, you could donate at www.paypal.me/UNIRock because I'm giving away all my ad revenue with these clips due to how disgusting he is. Take a listen.
Though, I mean, just.
Well, yeah,
he
needed somebody who wasn't going to be doing flat Earth shit.
Yeah, and you promised the entire panel hand jobs if you got on too, so there was that.
I remember that. I remember the specific details of that.
Tell you.
Oh, wait a minute. Isn't somebody doing a stream about Steve McRae's misogyny here? I want to make sure they have this clip for their misogyny stream here.
Look, as long as it's dark, I just figure she can get it all the way at one time and everybody collect it simultaneously. Yeah.
So you guys can get all of your Vienna sausages, your micropeens pushed together and then finish at the same time while Cheshire's giving you a BJ. Ew. Ew.
Let's see
Well,
here.
maybe we can just
Oh,
loan out the
I-
responsibility here, and we'll turn off the lights and play a game of Who's in My Mouth.
I have to apologize before doing this joke for the 4th time. Dead Cuckity's in space. Let the adults talk. Just stop talking about your favorite game to play every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 2 times a day on Wednesday. Please, will you shut up and let the adults talk?
I love it.
Seems reasonable.
We're gonna play the game. Whose penis is this? I said
Damn it, Steve. Will you stop talking about your favorite game to... Okay, I'm sorry.
penis again, but again, I'm saying it live. I'm not saying it pre-show. I'm a
So the key thing about this clip, it validates what he told me, what he told Kyle Curtis, what he told all the other people he was around. It validates all the original live streams where he said he admitted to telling us that, well, GE and Kyle talked sexually to Katie, so why are they going to get mad when I do? All the statements he made, and there are so many clips. This clip is the most, it implicates him the most. Listen for the words again. You can't, the day after you've been accused, say you're never going to do it again if you didn't already do it. I don't care. I don't think you saying disgusting things to her is like the worst thing in the world. I don't even think it's SH. I don't think you saying the worst disgusting things to her on a call or something or in a Google Hangout is SH, unless it's under certain circumstances. I do, though, think that when someone is at work and you say these disgusting things while propositioning them, that it is, yes. So if she wouldn't have been at work, you'd probably be able to make the argument it was just disgusting. The problem is, you did say it, man. I know you don't want it to be that way, Steve, but you should not take... I'm the only one that cares about you enough, and it's really crazy because I don't care about you at all, but I still care about you more than these people that are talking you into doing this lawsuit. You are really giving it away. Lauren says PayPal. I'll check it. Lauren, thank you. Just give me 1 second, because I want the haters out there who have been brainwashed into thinking that the reason why we talk about this situation is because we hate Steve or we're against Steve or something. That's insane, because we want him. I wouldn't care if he had 1 million subs as long as he stopped lying on everybody. If he just went and did content, he could have 1 million subs. Navy Menace, while I check what Lauren wanted me to check, will you guys elaborate? What would you think if Steve stopped doing all the skeezy shit and a year later succeeded like crazy on the platform? Would you be hateful and angry and talk about him if he was being cool? What would you do if that happened?
I'd congratulate him.
Yeah, because he actually found out a way to make actual content.
Lauren said, yikes. Thank you, Lauren. You could congratulate him. I would too. I would encourage him. I would hope to God. And how is this provable? He's admitted that me and you, Navy, and Negative, when we were in Discord back when this all blew up, that we were trying to talk him into just doing his show and being successful. He's admitted this. So, yeah, we can criticize him all we want. In fact, Katie and Steve both could have 1.2 million subs each and both do great on the platform. I'm not going to hate on them at all, either of them, as long as they're not doing this to each other, lying, creating a big mass of people to fight their battles. And right now, the only one that's being honest about the situation is KJP. And even if you don't like her, it doesn't mean she lies about everything, for fuck's sake. Anyway, let's play this clip. I want this clip off my screen.
We'll turn off the lights and play a game of Who's in My Mouth.
I love it.
Seems reasonable.
We're gonna play the game.
Dick Dawson, we know you love playing that game, all right? You don't have to keep telling us.
Seems reasonable.
We're gonna play the game. Whose penis is this? I said penis again, but again, I'm saying it live. I'm not saying it pre-show. I'm gonna try to avoid ever saying the word penis before a show, just so somebody can say. Steve said the word.
All right, we've heard it. He did it. He admits that he said this to her. He admits he's saying it again. He's never going to do it again. Why? Because he admitted to all of us, even Cheshire, even his buddies, even Red's Rhetoric, that he did say these things to Katie. Just because Chesh and Reds will lie about it, I'm not going to. I'll play the clip that backs up that he did tell me this back then, because his cult loves threatening me, loves coming at me, and literally they're coming at me because I am willing to play clips that match my fucking story, that prove to you what happened back then, which will extinguish the flame that he's trying to ignite with his gaslighting. Back to the video.
She is being sued. We are going to try to go for a trial jury so we can get punitive damages.
So Menace adds in, punitive damages are a form of punishment. So when someone does something so egregious that the court feels that it deserves more than just an order to pay back lost revenue, they tack on punitive damages in order to really teach a person a lesson or to really reward the victim of those actions. And you guys can jump in anytime you want. You know
but
this.
she has.
Oh, thank you, Menace. My fucking God, I need that clip too. I'm going to play that right now. That goes with our last point. Oh, hold on. I got to finish the rest of that list, don't I? We can do that list as we go. Menace even found another clip where he admits that he said these sexual things to KJP. Take a listen. And guys, I'll just tell you what it says after it plays because it's only 25 seconds. I'm going to hit play now.
So I literally have screenshots of her accusing me of inappropriate thing that later turned in the next tweet into sexual harassment. Her own words. Right? And then when I have other tweets where I call her out on it and say, look, you know, if you think that I said something that may have offended you or may not offend you or whatever, that's different than sexual harassment. And she was like, no, it's, you know, it's my truth kind of thing. So right there, the title is just wrong.
So in this clip, he's admitting, well, I probably just offended her. I didn't SH her, though, because he refuses to admit that it happened while she was at work. If you look up the definition of SH, then and especially in the workplace, the reason SH in the workplace is a stricter definition is because you are forced to go to work. It literally pays for your entire life. It's your career. It's what you work for. So if somebody SHs you at work and makes you want to quit your job, it can devastate your life. That's why we don't allow people to do this kind of stuff at work. Because if it does make somebody, if you're not Brad Pitt and they're not sexually attracted to you and they do call you out for it, they can go to their boss and make sure that you're not going to Steve McRae them. You're not going to taunt them. You're not going to harass them. You're not going to sit on streams and insult them and put them down and try to lie on them. This is why it's so bad for him to do the criticism content that he does after the accusation, because it wasn't a blind accusation. If it was a blind accusation, people would say, well, you know, there's no evidence either way, so if he wants to criticize her, fine. Though, because it's at work and it's been confirmed by Steve that he said these disgusting things in many clips and many admissions to people, it's not defamation. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't want to keep blabbing. If you want to say anything, go ahead, Navy.
Well, he put out in a tweet, I think a while back, that just because he says something that offends you doesn't make it SH, right? What he said.
And that's what we just played, yeah.
Yeah.
That's an audio of him saying it.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And that's what this audio is. Not only that, I want to tell you what he says in the beginning, so let me tell you.
So I literally have screenshots of her accusing me of inappropriate thing that
he says, I have screenshots of her accusing me of inappropriate things.
Later turned in the next tweet into sexual harassment.
That in the next tweet turned to SH. This is Darvo. This is him trying to make himself the victim of Katie's lying by attacking his accuser. That's Darvo. You deny, attack, and then reverse the victim offender role. See, she can say, let me just play this one more time here. I'm going to speak it for Navy too.
Screenshots of her
accusing him of inappropriate things in one tweet, and in the next tweet
into sexual harassment.
And it turned into SH. No, Steve, she can speak how she wants. If she puts out her first tweet and says, he said inappropriate things to me, and then the next tweet says, and it's SH, she can say that without it invalidating the situation. He knows this. This is a tactic. Many SHers, many abusers, many people that do horrible things use this tactic, combined with the tactic of cyber stalking, attacking, and the things that lead to ROs on their victims to intimidate, to harass, or to try to give mindless drones that follow them around ammunition to attack the person with. And Navy, you're going to have to interject in tonight, just so you know. I'm going to get mad about it.
Nope.
So here we go.
Put out that she has been served. I'm not releasing the complaint yet. Only a few people have actually seen it.
And Menace will probably be bouncing in and out because that's how he is.
Menace had to go
too, so.
Yeah, he had to go restart his computer. He'll be back.
Yeah, it's all good.
Once again, we had this thing where they talked about it on the stream that I think Trash Goblin did the other night, that it's not public yet, right? Well, it's not true, because he just says right there that certain people have already seen it. So he's sharing it with people. He's not going to share it with the public at large, because he likes to do this shit where he's like, well, come talk to me and I'll share it with you. No, if it's public, put it out there. What are you waiting on?
Exactly. He already did that. He's trying to incite YouTubers to talk about this while saying, for some reason that he won't release, he's only showing it to specific people. Now, if you come to him and you ask him, actually, let me just play because he's going to say it soon. Let's keep moving.
But yes, I am suing Katie Joy Paulson, as I said I was going to, and I keep my promises.
Stop here and look around for the sanity you all just lost. Oh, yeah, we know, Menace. So you keep your promises, right? Do you remember promising everybody in December of 19 when I proved the screenshots and the email fake, you would never talk about Katie or UNIRock ever again? You broke that promise the minute you came back from vacation. In fact, I think you tweeted about us while you were on vacation. So you are the most dishonest person in this entire community by far. You and Red's Rhetoric both are at the tied for the most dishonest people in the community. You guys run fraudulent fundraisers, and you sit here and lie on people. And then if people talk about what you've done, you get mad because now we've damaged your brand. We've damaged Red's Rhetoric brand, and Reds is going to sue Uni, and Steve is going to sue Katie. The problem is you damaged your brand with the disgusting clips we're playing. I didn't damage your brand by playing the clips and talking about what you did a year later when you're lying about what happened, okay? Red's running the fraudulent fundraisers, him refusing to criticize the people who stole the money, him refusing to be honest about why he defended those people blindly for an entire year, and why he still makes excuses for those people. He thinks I can't get up here and say that I believe he is involved in kept money too, when I have screenshots of him admitting to keeping money out of the fraud raisers. He wants to sue me for that. Because they are con men. They are grifters. Every grifter, every con man does this. This is just the first con man grifter that actually sued people that he's harassed. The problem is, Katie must fight back. I've been talking about this on Twitter Live. Katie has to fight back. She needs to sue him full force. I don't give a shit if she has to run fundraisers to do it. She can do fundraisers for every dime she has to spend. I don't care. She has to start thinking, if she wants the community to trust her, she's got to finally stand up and do something for the community. Make up for all the stuff that you get criticized for by going out and actually showing everybody who this guy is. Because if Katie doesn't, it's not just the community that suffers. He will never, ever stop. He does two things to Katie. Number one, he talks about her himself. And then number two, he incites, participates, and orders other people to go around talking about things. Cheshire, others have admitted to this. We've got Boomy leaks from his secret Twitter group called the Cult Coroner or whatever he called it. And then his secret Facebook group where you witness the Boomy leaks show that he has told people to go out and say this on social media so that he can get in front of the narrative so that Katie doesn't have the opportunity to, or so that people will think this about the situation. And when these things release, when they come out, He says, oh no, I'm going to sue people. You didn't care to release Katie's screenshots even when you had evidence that they were fake. So I'm sorry, dude. This is just your own doing. You will face the consequences for this, and then it'll stop you. Those huge consequences will stop you. And until those consequences are there, Katie, I hope you watch this. Until those consequences are there, you're not going to succeed on YouTube, because this man has ascended to the Super Saiyan level of coming at you while arguing somehow that it's not harassment. I just played a clip of Stephen Cheshire sitting here saying that you, Katie, wanted to be Ard so that you could play the victim. That is a real clip. I played at the beginning of the stream. If that's not harassment on YouTube, there's no such thing as harassment on YouTube. And I'm going to say this one more time. If they can go pull our report like they did by telling the cops they will not use it for commercial purposes and then do it, and they can sit there and read our report while calling her a liar, and then when they get outraged for it, they say, Katie just got Ard because she wanted to be the victim. Katie wanted to be Ard so she could be the victim. It is harassment.
I have every intention of doing a Goblin Reads / Dumbfect Friday, whichever one applies better to the. I'm just going to do a marathon and I'm going to read through all of it.
Nope, nobody cares.
Well, she's elated. See, she gets her dopamine hit from talking about Katie, and you can literally see it. You can see the dopamine releasing in her bloodstream, giving her the rush from the idea that she gets to talk about Katie being sued by Steve. The problem is, let's pretend something goes good for Katie in the lawsuit. She's not going to read it. She's not going to get up there and talk about it if it goes good for Katie. If Steve gets owned by this, she's not going to talk about it, and neither will the rest of the cult.
And what's going to happen to them if, because they've been attacking Emily Baker, right? Wanting her to read this stuff. What happens when, like you said, things don't go right for Steve and it goes right for KJ, and Emily Baker is out there with her 70,000, 100,000 subs reading out how he just got owned in court?
Oh, well, what do you think happened in the Toddy Westbrook lawsuit? As soon as Katie started doing good, the lawyers, the commentators, they all started getting horrid emails and harassment. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I have a feeling it's just going to be another fucking shit show for content.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, I mean...
We know you can't wait. We know, Chesh. We know what kind of person you are. We know that it gives you that dopamine hit thinking about how many people see you as this goblin-esque character that you call yourself. We get it. We get how you are. It's why none of us support you. But then again, you do get mad and start screaming and yelling about how nobody supports you and all that garbage. And I know you're excited, but you're going to just be infamous when this is over. You're not going to be famous. So who's the last person who got famous for suing someone with 180,000 subs? Oh, nobody in the history of the world.
Yeah, I was going to say,
shit. I love it when he puts the dots in. The dots in this are so good because it's like no comment, no need for a comment.
I have overwhelming evidence of defamation per se. They took this case immediately.
Okay. You've got overwhelming evidence of defamation per se. Why have we never seen it? I literally just played you guys harassing and defaming her. I could sit here and play it all night. Literally. I've got streams full of this shit where you lie about her. And you know you're lying about her. Let me give you a great example. Do you, Navy, it's probably when you first started chilling with me, do you remember those screenshots that he claimed were proof that Katie said good to a tragic situation that happened? And
I don't know. I'm going to do, yep.
Okay, and I proved to him immediately that they were fake and told him what he had to do if he wanted to attempt to validate them. Because if he wanted to try to validate them and make some other type of excuse for why these things, these anomalies showed that it was fake, then he'd need to do that at that point. There were errors and problems looking at the metadata. There were problems in looking at the screenshots themselves, the words that Katie used. It was not indicative of Katie. So I told him, these are fake, easily provably fake. Now, if she did say this, you need to get the person that did it to show you. They have to, screen share their, whatever it was, Facebook or whatever, and click the account and show that it goes to the official Katie account, because all somebody had to do to fake these was to either edit the screenshots, which, by the way, the evidence showed they were edited, or he could just show that it came from the official Katie account by clicking it, and because someone would create a fake Katie and then type what they wanted the fake Katie to say to this person, screenshot it, and it's done. So he went out and still, all the way up until recently, told people those screenshots are most likely real. They are 100% fake. Also, we all remember the Emily Bass email. It had spelling errors in it, and it was supposedly a strike that was auto-generated by YouTube and sent to Leslie Bass. It's impossible for those emails to have spelling errors, and it was from the wrong email address. It wasn't from the YouTube creators or whatever it was, where strikes are normally sent from. It was from somewhere else, I forget. The point is, immediately, he had the information that, according to science, according to things that have nothing to do with me, these screenshots, this email, they're fake. It is defamation for him to continue going around saying that Katie had done those things by blocking me and lying to everybody and then attacking me and hating me because I came out and exposed this. So I hate to say it, dude, that one instance did massively and provably damage Katie's YouTube career. How do you prove that in court? Well, you grab all the people out there that made videos saying that they were real because of one person. You, Steve McRae. Steve is the person that released them. The people who had the conversation with Katie, they didn't do this. They just sent and talked about these screenshots privately. Steve released them publicly and got a lot of shit for it. That's just one thing you're going to sink for. So I don't get it, dude. Like, you want to sit here and play this game, it's not going to go good. Katie is armed to the teeth against you.
Well, and the thing is that, I'm sorry. The thing is that, like MD said in the live chat, those screenshots actually hurt Katie.
Very much.
Because that's actual defamation, because there was no proof that they were real. There was no proof that this ever happened. And so that is literally
the contrary.
They have right now shown you with those screenshots and what he did with those screenshots as actual an example of what defamation per se is, because you have the screenshots plus the lives of him saying these things are real.
Then you've got people spreading the lie because of what he put out, and then you've got the observable data of Katie losing money, subscribers, because of the outrage. This is going to be used against you, and she's going to win, dude. Do you have the $500,000 she's suing you for?
So I'll talk more about it at additional time. It's not the place for this right now, but yeah.
It's not the place to talk about it when you talked about Kyle's lawsuit like crazy on this exact place right when it was okay, never mind.
I will confirm that I am, in fact, have a complaint.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to make one little correction right fast. I said defamation per se. Defamation per se deals with an actual accusing somebody of a crime. So no, it was just an example of defamation. Sorry.
Well, wait a minute, because per se is what he's accusing Katie of.
Right, which is the SH part that he claims in his little list of 10.
Speaking of that list, let's get back to it. Here we go. So we've covered these 4. And I've played video clips, not only of him admitting to 1 through 4, but I played a video clip of him admitting to 5. I will tell you, I testified because he said it live. He said it to other YouTubers. I say it now. He told me he did say those disgusting things to her in that show. 1 through 5 came from him. So let's move to these. The judge put her HRO /TRO under VAWA. Menace and I can handle this. So on Twitter, I shared a week or two ago a discovery made. I actually showed it on stream too, by Road User. Now, I'd love to have that discovery in the bottom of general, but I really don't want to force anyone to go out and look for it because it was from a week or two ago. But that discovery was the, what's that called? The little fucking numbers in your lawsuit. I'm drawing a blank.
Case number?
No, it's like the ordinance or some shit that it goes to in the law. I forget. But it's got the numbers in the lawsuit. It'll say like the blah 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 400-5 whatever, and you can search
statute that it
the
applies to.
statute. There it is, the statute. It lists the statute in the RO. You can search it. I did this live. I put this on Twitter. You can search the statute listed in his RO, and it leads you to the full faith and credit. When you look in full faith and credit, I put the page on Twitter of full faith and credit that it linked to that said that VAWA is what applied full faith and credit to the RO. So because they're not in the same state and because the RO did determine that he was a threat to their safety, privacy, and other things, the judge factually did, based on the conditions of the RO, file it under VAWA. Now, a layman in law is going to represent VAWA's application to the RO by verbally saying the judge filed it under VAWA. That's just ignorance in the law. No, I'm not a lawyer. Katie ain't. A lot of you guys aren't. It is perfectly fine for you to verbally say the judge filed it under VAWA, or VAWA does apply, or you could say by searching the statute listed in the RO, VAWA is provably applied. Any of those statements base upon one thought, which is that VAWA either does or does not apply to the RO. One way that you know Steve is purposely lying here is because of the wording he uses every time he bitches about VAWA. He never comes out and says, VAWA does not apply to my RO, but he sure damn acts like it doesn't by saying over and over again, the judge put it under VAWA. This is his semantic lie. He's saying because she said that the judge put it under VAWA, she's lying because the judge did not physically put it under VAWA, but that's a lie. The real question is whether VAWA applies or whether VAWA does not. And yes, it factually applies. Did I say that okay, Menace Navy? Anyone want to add to that?
Yeah, the full faith and credit is there because of VAWA, and it's there on protection orders. So Steve's restraining order met the definition of protection order because of the threatening behavior. It's got to be either violent or threatening behavior in order to be a protection order. And because his was, it had full faith and credit, which again is a result of the Violence Against Women Act.
And also the aspect that he lives in another state. The full faith and credit comes in as well because he goes from what is held up in one state is held up in another state. That's what full faith and credit is.
That is the definition of full faith and credit. Without full faith and credit, an RO in Minnesota is going to have a really hard time being applied to a man in California. They may have to go to Cali and file it. And there's going to be red tape and issues and problems. This was put in, VAWA's there, and it's disgusting, and only someone espousing incel rhetoric, harasser rhetoric, BS, liar rhetoric would be against VAWA like him and his friends are. They all shit on VAWA and act like it's horrible. In the stream Steve did, his co-host, the person with him, said that VAWA is horrible towards men. All VAWA does is make sure that when a man is harassing a woman over state lines, that the judge does not have to go through a week or 3 weeks of red tape to apply the RO over to the next state. Go ahead, Navy.
Well, the thing is, and what they say is so blatantly wrong, is that the acts of VAWA only applies to women, right? It doesn't.
Yeah,
Nowadays,
it
it
doesn't.
applies to everybody. It applies to
Exactly.
men, women, whatever. It doesn't. It applies to everyone.
Well, that's why Steve's co-host, Mr. Ass, looked like such an idiot. But I don't even have to say that, dude. You can just listen to that stream to know that. I mean, that guy, it was just basically Steve had a troll come on and help him espouse his incel rhetoric. And it's just disgusting that people don't think this is misogynistic. I don't even go into misogyny. I don't go into that bullshit here. Though, for this applies, it would apply to it. I'm no expert in it. I'd have to get exiled in here to talk about that. But it applies. So number 7 is that Steve, that he's saying Katie lied about him sending her threatening emails. Well, Steve, you got this wrong. In that RO, the judge checkmarked, was it text messages and emails and phone calls, some type of communication. So the problem is you sent her threatening communications. It doesn't matter if it's an email, a text message, or a phone call. The judge checkmarked that you sent the threatening communications. Because you're a semantic liar and because you're trying to, harass her, you're trying to act like if she says email instead of text message, she's a liar. No, you're a liar because instead of you understanding the point of what she's saying and understand that she's saying communications, that you're calling her a liar for it because you're harassing her. Now, the judge is the one you got to take this up with. The judge is the one that checked those boxes on that RO or allowed those boxes to be checked according to the evidence that was filed. So whatever you want to sit here and say, you're not going to win this in court, definitely. And okay, we got to talk about this for a second. He signed an NDA that restrained him more than an RO instead of fighting the evidence of the RO in court. Doesn't that immediately just fuck his case to the moon?
You would think so. I mean, he's admitted to everything.
Yeah, agreed.
He's admitted to everything, but he changed his story, lied about the story for a year, and now has convinced himself of his own lies. So,
well, I mean,
even
like I said before, he's created. No, go ahead, sir.
No, go ahead, please.
No, he's created his delusional world, whether he's trying to do the long con or he's actually gone, a little bit mental and has convinced himself of a world in which TRO doesn't mean what it means and that VAWA doesn't mean what it means. And, he can literally take anything and say, well, you use the wrong word here, but the meaning's still the same. And so that negates everything you said, and you're automatically a liar and astronomically stupid.
Yeah, but if somebody is arguing with him, he expects them to go by his ideas. He doesn't expect them to semantically jump on him or he'll call fallacy, right? Okay, let's keep moving. So sent the threatening email, that's easily handled, and it's just a complete lie. I threatened her to make an apology video. You did. He admitted that he sent in a video, in a live stream, he admits to sending Astro Boy, Astro Liar, to Katie to convince Katie to make an apology. Though he said he was going to burn down her channel if she didn't make an apology. Now, this is all my memory, but we're looking for these clips and we're looking for these statements and tweets from a pile of and folders of evidence about this stuff. So it does take time to pull it. And I know a lot of you guys were around back then. If you can help us out with this one, number 8, I'd love for someone to give me the tweet where he said he would destroy her channel, burn down her channel if she didn't apologize. But it was said. Also, Astro Boy lied to Katie about, he lied to Katie to con her into making the apology video. So he told Katie that Steve never admitted to Medi-Cal fraud or Social Security fraud or any of that. So then when Katie made the apology video on Twitter, people went and showed her the video clips of him admitting that he told Kyle not to pay him because it would change his Medi-Cal. He wanted to not get paid by non-sec for a year so he can get treated by Medi-Cal and then get all of his money at once so they wouldn't take his Medi-Cal. So these are as soon as Katie heard that and saw the clip of him saying it with his own mouth, she retracted her apology because it was based upon a lie from Astro Boy. So this is how he works.
Real quick correction right there. It wasn't Astro Boy. It was Dead Cuckies.
Ah, you're right. I'm sorry. Dead Cuckies, not Astro Boy. Astro Boy was sent to do something else. But this is how he operates. He has these little simps, and he creates plots. I can't name other people, and I won't bring up the instances, though. If I were able to name those people, and only reason I can't name them is for their fear of being viciously harassed, he creates plots of, hey, will you go to this person, tell them this happened, tell them to make a video on it that is going to accuse this person of this. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say this about him. And then you go get him to apologize. And he wields these things against people to create social situations where him and Reds can then benefit from those social situations. This has been going back for years, and it's the GDC, the Dragoons, and people out there who are around these guys who have come out and told these stories and shown live clips. They've even got secret recordings of Red's rhetoric in public where Reds didn't know that he was being recorded, and they've uploaded it to YouTube, proving the extent and how far these guys will go. And that's why it's excellent. People like Hannah, people like Fiona have gone on Ethan's channel to do the Requiem for the GDC series, and I hope you guys watch it because it's excellent. But in that series goes into detail on how he stole the Great Debate community, just like he tried to steal the non sequitur community, just like he's trying to lie and manipulate these Teen Mom and other 90 Day Fiance shows, their communities. He wants to manipulate these people to take their followings. It's what it's all about. Then we've got number 9. Number 10 is just a bullshit thing he added because he had to pad this list. He had to add 4 that all are the same. He had to add things that he knows he's admitted to. He has to add things that he knows are complete lies to be able to even get to 10. And he couldn't even get to 10. He had to make number 10 lied about not ever lying, which that's Steve McRae. He says he's never told a lie in his whole life and you can't catch him in a lie. So he's talking about himself. Number 9 is that he abused KJP's family member that I won't mention, and out of respect for her family. Now, one thing I can do is go to Katie's Twitter account to handle this one.
And also, Menace's video shows it really well, or his clips.
Oh, I've got that clip. What was the name of that clip? Anybody know what the name was that BCP dropped? I'm looking for it right now. I need that clip because you're right. That clip is so good. Oh, here it is.
One tweet.
All right. So this is a clip that shows what he did to Katie's family member, the minor. So take a look at this really quick. And then a Menace, I'm just playing that video that BCP put in right now. And then we'll break down a little more about this. This is all under his number 9.
So the question is, what would we expect to see if her child was abused by someone? Let's say me. That's fine. I've never been to her state. I've had one tweet about her son, and all I was asking was what she considered to be medically fragile. That was it. I've had one tweet about her son, and I've had one tweet.
I can't even believe he lied right there. But let's take a look at how many tweets he made. This is not all of them.
About her son, and one tweet, 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 one tweet.
So that was just some of the clips he made about the minor family member, but let's read some of these tweets just so you know Menace isn't bullshitting and that they are about the minor family member. She said, Steve said things about the minor family member, like, she even said everything she does online is for her kid, yet gets Botox and doesn't even bother to stop streaming to take care of him. I get it may not be her night, but you can't have it both ways, as she tries to do. How does he, and I don't want to mention anything about his situation other than this, you aren't one to talk. You love lying about shit like this on people, don't you? Makes you feel good, doesn't it? Makes you feel like you're a better person, or you're better at this kind of thing than anyone else. You're the worst at this. Either way. What is worse, lying to, but hold on. I didn't click far enough. Hold on. Here we go. Then she needs to get help. But I just talked to someone on Reddit who claims to have known her since Katie's family member was 2, and even said that she was a pathological liar then and did some shady shit with the fundraiser for him, which I have heard before, and bought a house. That's defamation per se. Especially when he DM'd people her address, many people, while trying to convince them that she ran a fake fundraiser for the son to buy the house, which is absolutely untrue, because all of the money went to the charity. It didn't go to Katie. Anyway, I am literally, as we speak, talking to someone who has known Katie 5 years plus, telling me all kinds of interesting things. She says Katie was a pathological liar back then, as info on a previous fundraiser she did for her son, which she said was shady. Trying to get that person to come forward, they sent me screenshots 5-year-old on FB. While sketchy, doesn't do much, but shows he has people who think she ripped him off by a scam medical fundraiser for the family member. I want to reiterate with no uncertain terms, this is not about the kid who is innocent, but about Katie's inconsistencies about medical conditions. If you make this about her kid personally in any way, you'll be blocked. Kids are off limits always. Now, this is after he got massive pushback for tweeting about the kid for an exceptionally long time. He shows all of these things that are wrong with their son and is acting like these can't be wrong with their son. And he's trying to show what has been confirmed wrong with their son and what hasn't. Look at how disgusting this is. I don't know how this is not harassment. Her son is not a public figure. Katie is allowed to talk about her son without people scrutinizing things about her son. That's creepy. It's weird. It's wrong. It's disgusting. One more and then we're done. Let's just skip ahead towards one of the later ones.
One tweet.
You said Katie's son has hydrocephalus. How do you know this? Please explain to me how I interviewed a friend of KJ. Okay, he's just really saying the same thing there. You have no idea what your issue is. There's nothing unethical about showing a public webpage Katie wrote about her own son. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Now, let's get back to Katie's Twitter so that you can see even more stuff he said. Oh, she's talking about it right now, guys. We're going to have to come back to this. So actively on Twitter, she said, a home that was 70 years old and just not safe for his fragile health. I mortgaged my future and took out a massive loan against my 401k. I paid back a massive penalty in taxes and gave up my future savings to give my child a safe home. My son nearly died. A friend, out of compassion, started a GoFundMe knowing that I had been out of work for 6 months because of bed rest and his premature birth. Every cent went to his medical care. Then, 9 months later, we sold our home and bought a house. In 2019, Steve brought a woman onto his channel. She falsely accused me of misappropriation of a GoFundMe. She said that she claimed I used $5,000 that was raised in January while my son was on life support and almost died to not pay for his hospitalization, but to buy a house 9 months later. In your lawsuit, you say I call you a malignant narcissist. You claim statements like this harmed your reputation. Here you are in December calling me a narcissist and stating that you use checklists on Twitter. Then you say people in your past think you are a narcissist. Oh, wow. It's a video clip. Oh, baby. And here, just so that you guys can hear and see what we're talking about, I'm going to change windows really quick. All right, here we go.
Points that she has some kind of narcissistic personality disorder or malignant narcissism or narcissism.
Damn, her lawyers are going crazy, Navy and Menace. They're just getting all these crazy clips, her lawyers are. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's almost like she's right. Suspects.
I wonder how many YouTubers that support Steve are going to play the evidence that Katie's putting out or the evidence I've put out, and how many of them are going to ignore the stuff that makes Katie look right.
This is martyrdom. If somebody has a psychology degree, hopefully maybe they can dive into it more. I sure don't. But it's just, as a layperson.
You don't have any degrees.
As a person observing, there's something wrong there. And it has been for years. Because everybody from her past, everybody from 5 or 6 years old, 5 or 6 years ago, has told me the exact same thing.
Why are you interviewing? Wait a minute. Hold the fucking front door. Did he just say he's interviewing people from 5 and 6 years? Everybody she knew from 5 or 6 years ago? How's that not harassment? Yep. She wasn't even on YouTube. At this time, she'd only been on YouTube a year.
Yeah, that was long before she created her Without a Crystal Ball channel in October of 2018. And he was saying this in what, 2019, I think that video's from?
A year after, yeah, about a year and 2 months after, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he went back not 1 year before YouTube, or 2 or 3, but 5 and 6 years before she started YouTube. 4 and 5 years before.
I actually got word the other day from some viewers that there were people that were actually going and trying to contact people that knew her in high school.
Oh my God, man. So this is cyber stalking. There's no like excuse for any of this garbage. How is that relative to YouTube content whatsoever? That is literally an attack on her person, not on her content, not on her YouTube, not against something she's put out. This is shit. These are people trying to fucking stalk her friends, family, and people she's known. By definition, that's the definition of it. If you got YouTube content that she makes you have a problem with, you talk about that. If you're trying to stalk her whole life, put her on blast for it, and just rail her, then you're stalking her. What the hell is the definition of stalking if it doesn't fit? If this doesn't fit it?
You know, it's not like a handful of people. You know, there's a handful of people from my past that think I'm a narcissist. Okay.
Well, that's because you told them you were. That's the problem there. You've said this. Like,
wait, there's not a handful of people. There's a shit ton of people.
Exactly. But who cares? You're allowed to sit. I'm allowed to say, because I've had personal experiences with him for like 6 to 8 months, that I feel he's a narcissist. It's not some defamation or something. He says it about me. He says I'm a narcissist. Literally, Cheshire calls 9 people narcissists. How is this, like, where does this come from him? He doesn't even think before he talks nowadays.
The evidence for that. Every checklist that I did today on Twitter, she matched every single one of them. I don't think I have any of those. Okay, so, I mean...
You don't think you have any of those? Are you being serial? Katie says, in your own words, let's get some music. In your own words, I was a nobody. So how can a nobody be responsible for ruining your reputation? Exactly. That's a great point. Oh, no. Dude, her lawyers are digging through his old clips, his old streams. Her lawyers are going crazy on these old streams. Katie says, again, because I didn't do exactly what you wanted in a way that satisfied you, apologizing for something that I didn't do, then I would have not been on your radar because you had bigger fish to fry on your radar. I wonder what the word radar means. Could it mean harassment? Could it mean investigating their entire life, cyber stalking, targeting?
Katie's biggest mistake was really not taking my offer to her to basically apologize for her accusations.
Now hold on, he just said he did not want her. Hold up. Wait. Where was that list at? Wasn't there something on that list that said he threatened her if she didn't do an apology? Yes, that was on that list. So Let's hear this. So, okay, he claims he didn't threaten her that he didn't say she had to do an apology and threatened her if she didn't do the apology video. This is the threat he made if she didn't do the apology video that he offered her.
Katie's biggest mistake was really not taking my offer to her to basically apologize for her accusations and get off my radar. I think that was the number one mistake.
There it is.
If she would have just kept her apology up, not struck my channel, and said, "Yeah, Steve, you know what? I really am sorry," and I felt like she really apologized, I had other big fish to fry, or bigger fish to fry. She's not even a big fish. She's a nobody like me on YouTube.
A nobody.
But she didn't. She listened to the Kyle.
Hold on, right here, number 8. I threatened her to make an apology video. I'm playing it. You threatened to keep her on your radar if she didn't make an apology video. We have the stream. Are you going to go to Twitter now, Steve? Are you going to tell these people that you've been berating Chrisley and all these people, truth sleuthing them? Are you going to tell them you lied and you did threaten her if she didn't make the apology? Because we play, whoop, there it is, says Lauren. That's right, Lauren. There it is.
Group, the people that are out there.
Go ahead, Menace.
Not to mention, he just said she's a nobody on YouTube just like me. So I thought she was a public figure and he could just harass the shit out of her and lie on her because of it.
Well, you know what he doesn't tell anybody when he talks now? He was restrained from talking about her under NDA for a year. Before they entered that agreement, she only had like 40 or 50,000 subs. When he first started targeting her, she'd only been on YouTube like 6 or 8 months. He just admitted it. June of 2019 is when he targeted her. She started her channel like 8 months before that. She only had like 10,000 subs. He wasn't doing this to some fucking public figure. He was doing this to a woman that had 10 or 20,000 subs. So every person with 10 or 20,000 subs going up has a potential to be the target of him. But after he targeted her is when, because he went in and rewarded all the people that were, when he first targeted her, he had just about the same amount of subs she did. And he rewarded people that targeted her with them. And that's why he built such a snowball of people like EKC that reads her R report trying to say she's lying, or Shesh Liar saying that she deserved it because, or I'm sorry, that she wanted it because she wanted to make herself a victim.
Katie's biggest mistake.
That's the definition of our apologetics, by the way.
And we also have a holy spackle in the house.
Oh, yeah? In here now? Spackle! Hey, do me a solid. So you got to double click me, open the stream that I've got up so you can watch this along with this and provide commentary with this if you'd like. That'd be awesome because we're watching these videos. So here we go. This is him. So Spackle, just to catch you up and welcome. Love having you. On this tweet and statement he put out, number 8, the greatest lies Katie ever told about him is that he threatened her to make an apology video. And we're now playing the video clip where he threatens her to make the apology video. And we all know he's going to correct himself. He's going to update his list. He's going to go to Twitter. He's going to pin it at the top. I apologize for the lies I told about Katie and my top 10 lies that Katie told about me. And he's going to correct them all. Let's hear this clip.
Katie's biggest mistake was really not taking my offer to her to basically apologize for her accusations and get off my radar. I think that was her number one mistake. If she would have just kept her apology up, not struck my channel, and said, "Yeah, Steve, you know what? I really am sorry," and I felt like she really apologized, I had other big fish to fry, or bigger fish to fry. She's not even a big fish. She's a nobody like me on YouTube.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. The whole time you harassed her, she was a nobody like us. You're right. He says, Katie says, service to our home was fine. I clarified I don't need to be served. However, let's just say we aren't getting very far with lawyers today. Oh, damn, guys. Oh. So I guess they're moving towards, issues because they're not getting anywhere with Steve's lawyers. Okay, well, listen to this, guys. Katie says, full faith and credit was a part of the Violence Against Women Act. The act was established in 94 and authorized in 18. Many pieces of the act remained, including full faith and credit. This is not a lie. It's how the judge ordered the HRO, period. Exactly. What are you thinking about Katie being sued, Spackle? What are your opinions?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Like, I'm just kind of mind blown. It blows my mind that this is because she put a restraining order on him because she's trying to avoid harassment. And you have people like Red's Rhetoric, quote unquote, tweeting, ram it up your ass.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm just stunned. And
yeah, I'm going to show people this.
Something fierce.
He's destined to lose. In fact, I think he's going to offer her another too good to be true deal. And I hope to God she doesn't take it, because I know it would suck to go into... I know it would suck to have to go into a lawsuit with him. And it would probably cost around $10,000, $20,000. I hope to God Katie sees that he will never stop lying about her. If he enters a deal with her, he's going to break the deal, lie about the deal, because he's going to know that most likely she's not going to want to spend the money to take him back to court. So her only option now is to go to court, completely decimate Steve, and get that $500,000, $750,000 judgment against him. In his state, he will be required to have a draw taken out of any income he makes for the rest of his life until it's paid off. That way Katie gets restitution. That way Steve stops. And then the other people that are doing this to her, they can then commentate on what she publicly does or go talk about something else instead of cyber stalking her. So let's find this.
It's so weird that he's going to stay below the collect.
Yeah. He's going to stay in the background or something. You cut out, just so you know.
Oh, it's supposed to talk and I'm on the phone. I was just saying that he already is the guy that's intentionally making less money than he could be making. So yeah. I can imagine like he's going to do the same. That would be his tactic.
Okay, so what you were referencing is this tweet where Katie says, "Oh my God, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Steve McRae is suing me for defamation. Let's do this. My countersuit with damages is ready to go." Red's Rhetoric retweets it and says, "Yes, it finally happened. Steve McRae is suing that piece of shit known as Katie Joy. Steve is sick of her defamation and is ready to ram it back up her ass. The best part is he
sharing, just so you know."
Oh, yeah. You won't be able to see this part until I go back to the other. I had to pull this up on my Twitter, so it'll be right back up for you. The best part is he isn't the only one. This is a great day. You agree, Todd Chrisley? And this kind of tells me that Reds and Steve talked to Chrisley, lied to him, and because that's what both of them do. They're pathological liars. Lied to Chrisley. And now Steve said he had 2 lawyers from an expensive firm backing his lawsuit. So I am absolutely positive that they lied to Chrisley, and they're going to do in Chrisley, in my opinion. Oh, shit. So next up, she says, "Whoa, is this you trying to convince people in DMs that I have a personality disorder, that I'm dangerous? Are you falsely accusing me of fraud and covering up fraud, ? And this is what Steve says. Now, there's a lot here. I'm going to read it quick. You guys interject whenever you want. You got to interject because Twitter has like a 2-second delay. So he says, "Katie research is repoing off the Ashley and going to Reddit and FB group. You want oh no about me? Me and my co-host Kite, along with my produce, had Katie on our show before she even had Y channel." This is when he's triggered, by the way, and drunk. "Our producers showed her how to stream. My co-host ran off with $60K that Katie helped cover up by continuing to stream to the channel, dropping its value close to $100K. He is the one that devalued the channel. So this is what he tells people in the DMs. when he's the one that devalued the channel.
I was there. I remember when he said, go unsub from non sequitur. And this was back when I was on, like when I was a Steve supporter in this aspect. I remember exactly what he said, and I went and did it because I was a fucking moron.
I'm pretty sure it was Reds that said if you don't hand it over, we will burn it to the ground. I'm pretty sure that was Reds.
Steve said it too, and Steve and Reds both told the non sequitur viewership to unsubscribe from the non sec Patreon and subscribe to Steve. And if you go look on Patreon, you can see that the month they said that, Kyle lost 85 and Steve gained 85. So when Kyle enters the damages phase of his lawsuit, he can still go and argue to the judge that Steve destroyed the channel, destroyed his business, and all that stuff. I don't know if Kyle will. I think Kyle's going to run forever. I'm just saying he could. Maybe this lawsuit from Katie will give Kyle a little motivation. He continues, though, after we issued a demand letter to stop, Katie then falsely accused me of tax evasion, medical evasion, medical fraud, and SH, knowing every claim was false just to help Kyle not have to explain the missing money. So he is in DMs defaming the living fucklights out of Katie to everybody. And finally, people are taking screenshots and giving them to Katie. Thank God, Steve. This is you lying in DMs to try and put narratives out about the people you don't like, about the people who debunk you. You don't go to YouTube and broadcast a criticism video. You do this. He says, I took Kyle to Superior Court and won. That is who I am. He then says, honestly, I don't have time to go into my personal history and information. This is a different DM, by the way. Then my life is all public and a significant number of Facebook friends I have known most of my life. Feel free to ask them about me. Katie lies. She's pathological. I'm sure she has borderline or full MPD. If you dig into her past, you'll see a pattern of behavior. Wait, he just admitted he's been digging into her past. Where
that's the
she's private.
Second or third time we've heard him do that tonight.
Yep.
When she's just a private citizen.
Yeah, well, earlier he was talking about how he went back 4 or 5 years.
Exactly.
She's just a private citizen, and he's digging into not only her, the son, and the husband. This dude straight up screwed himself in these DMs. How did she get these DMs? I wonder how she got them. Could it be that the people he talked to realized they were being lied to and manipulated by him and gave Katie all the DMs? Yup. Guess what he said about me when I told people about 8 months, 9 months, 10 months ago that Katie was getting DMs from people that were leaving Steve's camp? He called me a liar. Well, there you go, Steve. Now you got picked. You're going to retract that lie you told about me, Steve? You're going to go, you said you're honorable and ethical and you don't lie or defame people. You're going to go retract the lie you told about me? You're not? Okay. Okay, it gets worse. You dig into her past, you will see a pattern of behavior. Misinformation, lies, false accusations, followed by covering it up by deleting messages, posts, and blogs. Katie can make the argument because this screenshot was made before they pulled her R report from the police and then identified her as the protected witness to tell people and convince them that she was lying about the R report. You could say that this is proof of a targeted harassment campaign to try to make the woman who, in a valid way, accused him of SH at the workplace look like a liar so he can try to defend himself and convince people that he didn't SH her. That's what all this is, by the way. All the people who are in his cult, they all demand Katie apologize to Steve. That's their motivator. We've got screenshots. Now, the person came back and said, I'm not asking you to. I just asked if you knew a few of the same people I do. As I figure our circles must have a crossover. I'm sorry if I've annoyed you over this Katie thing. No one likes to be tricked. That's all. So this person's calling him out saying, I don't want to hear this shit about Katie. I don't know you. I barely communicate. This is an admission. This is the first time they've DM'd because they're talking about if they have friend overlap on Facebook. You don't say that to someone that you've been talking to. So this is like what he tells people when he first DMs with them. This is harassment, y'all. Then Steve says, in response to them saying this, these people's lives. Katie has affected them in the most unimaginable ways. And she isn't merely one out of many on my list of people who I have to deal with daily, that I have to keep fighting to something. Keep fighting lies, accusations, covering it up, deleting messages, posts, and blah. She is one of many people I have to keep fighting daily. I have to keep fighting to expose them for what they really are. Monsters. He's talking about me. They say, for what it's worth, I don't think all her followers are just idiots. It'd be easier if that was the case. It's really hard for people looking in to see who the monster is when it feels like both sides are as bad as each other. Some of your supporters are ruthless, use foul language, and insult everyone.
He uses foul language all the time.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that's what that was the person calling Steve out. Yeah, saying that part. And yep, this is true. You're about to see it on this stream. I say on his stream, Steb talks about Steb's lawsuit with KJP and says, quote, she's not going to outspin Todd Chrisley, end quote. I said, thanks for letting us know who's bankrolling, Lordy. Katie says, is this true? Well, let me show you. Let's keep watching. Let me change my screen for you guys so you can see this announcement video. And here we go. Back to the video.
Complaint that has been served on Katie Joy Paulson for defamation.
So Menace says, generally, defamation per se, the statements are presumed harmful. Traditionally, there have been 4 general categories of untrue statements presumed to be harmful to one's reputation and therefore actionable as an injury claim. Typically, if the statements don't fall into one of these categories, the plaintiff is required to prove damages. If it does fall into one of these categories, damages are presumed because of how damaging it is. These things are indications a person was involved in criminal activity, indications a person has a loathsome, contagious, or infectious disease, indications a person was unchaste or engaged in sexual misconduct, indications that a person was involved in behavior incompatible with the proper conduct of business, trade, or profession.
I can't wait to read it. Is the complaint public?
No, not yet. The way it works in Montana or Minnesota is you do the complaint, you have it served, she can respond to it or not, and then if she wants to go to trial, we're more than prepared.
What do you guys, I want to ask you guys a question because I don't want you just sitting there not talking. I don't want to talk over you. What do you think Steve says to himself when he watches my stream? Because we knows he watched my stream. He was commentating on one of my last ones. What does he say to himself when he sees videos of himself doing the things he says he doesn't do? What do you think?
Oh God, I don't know. Like it must be awful.
Well, I mean, I think he's purposely lying, so I think he just gets angry.
I know that with Nate, they're
You're pushed to talk. You're pushed to talk. I know it sucks. I'm sorry.
I wonder if they assume that you're out of context and they just make that excuse constantly.
They do make that excuse, but I've been making sure to play extra clip. Like I go before and after the segment that's pulled out so that I can prove to them that I'm not taking him out of context. But he'll do anything. He'll say anything, of course. I think he's purposely lying. And then when he watches me or Menace or someone, he knows we go to extraordinary lengths to show where our information comes from so that he can't say that we're defaming him. You know, I play Steve saying that he, did everything because of Medi-Cal 5 times. I play Steve lying like we just did, and then I call him a liar. Because if I call him a liar, he's going to cry defamation. But if I play a clip of him lying and then call him a liar, he can't cry defamation. So Steve is being misleading. Oh, go ahead.
No, right fast. We had some tweets earlier underneath your who was it? So Chesh had retweeted what you had said, right? That Katie had retweeted, right? About Todd and all this kind of stuff. He responded, all right, and he says, LOL, don't know who Steve is, nor do I care, but maybe KJ could teach him how to set up a GoFundMe account with some tear-jerking story to help fund his litigation.
Oh my God. He doesn't realize that Red's rhetoric runs fraud raisers. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Wait a minute. Does that mean Steve lied when he said he's been talking with Todd Chrisley about all this?
Did he lie, or is Chrisley lying? I think that, who do we trust more? Is Chrisley or I trust Chrisley more than I trust Steve. I kind of like Chrisley from a personality standpoint. I don't like some of the stuff he's done, y'all. Not a blatant approval of Chrisley, but he is funny. He's got a really funny personality. Chrisley, are you lying to me, Navy? What the fuck? Chrisley said he doesn't know who Steve is?
Yeah, that was a tweet he put out earlier. It was in response to Chesh retweeting KJ's tweet of what you said.
So is Chrisley just lying? Because obviously, Steve, you're about to hear Steve literally say that you're going to hear it. I'm going to play it. Let's just keep going. We'll get to that one because we're almost there. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say is that there's an aspect where, not an aspect, but there's a tweet that was earlier where Chrissy had reached out to Steve, and I don't know if the time is like before or after what he just tweeted out, according to what was dropped in general, but where he was talking about because Reds attacked him. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, that couldn't have happened because I said that just a few hours ago a few hours before I started this stream. So it had to have been today.
And he had tweeted back to Rez and Steve about getting in touch with his attorneys because they're joining in with the other 3 litigants, right? So there's like 5 people total that apparently are suing Kate.
Oh, now wait. They're going in with other litigants. So, okay, this actually might. Okay, let's read this. We'll get to that because we're about to see the clip and then we'll go there. So, off of what Steve just said, Menace says this is misleading, and it is. Steve served Katie via what is called hip pocket service. Hip pocket is legitimate service, but it's not filed with the court. Basically, Katie has to respond within a required time frame like any other lawsuit. But with hip pocket, it gives them a year before it has to be filed with the court. This is usually done so litigants can work out a deal and save the headaches and cost of trial. Does this mean McRae is banking on Katie making a deal? And we already kind of know that due to things Steve has said. He's kind of alluded to the fact that he wants Katie to make a deal, pay him money, and it be over. And apologize publicly. But you take it whatever way you want. I want to get to this clip of Steve kind of breaking in when he was talking about his lawsuit with Katie and making a statement so that you can make up your own mind. So let's just keep going, though.
Okay. Well, her Twitter response has, may I?
Yeah.
So what she said is, oh my God, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Steve McRae is suing me for defamation.
I think this is where you zoom in on his face. Okay. I do want to say this, Cheshire. It is the funniest thing we've ever seen in our live. Because it's when somebody SAs or Rs a person, and then let's say, I don't know, they start arguing with them about court and charges, and so that person just rushes to sue them, right? They typically aren't going to win the lawsuit. The SAing, the SHing, whatever the accusation is, typically will, let's say, supersede the fact that they want to file this criminal action or civil action. All I want to say is, with all the clips I'm playing on this stream, these clips, Cheshire and Steve refuse to play. If I do a video and I play the clips of Steve lying, of him saying disgusting things about Katie, him admitting to saying the things about SH with Katie, involving the SH claim. These things, they will ignore like the plague. All of a sudden, a video they could be bitching about, if that clip is in that video, they're going to ignore it. They're going to tell their audience not to watch it. They will not play the clips of Steve lying and explain them, and they will not play the clips of Steve saying disgusting things and explain them. That is why I knew that Cheshire wasn't going to come on my show, wasn't going to let me on her show, and that's why I knew Steve wasn't going to do either of those things. Because if I could get Cheshire Steve here, or if I went there, I'd play those clips. I even had when Cheshire was faking going to have me on her show, I had my audio routed so that I could play these clips through my microphone so that while I'm in a Hangout, while I'm in a Discord, my audio can be shot straight to her. So she's either going to have to mute me or kick me or hear the clips of Steve lying and the clips of Steve admitting to saying the sexual things to Katie. These things they need to acknowledge, because you're never going to gain respect from anyone in the community when they can discover these clips. If they go find 1,000 new people and they convince those 1,000 new people by lying to them that they didn't do anything wrong to Katie, Katie did everything wrong to them, and then they see the clips, those people, 999 out of 1,000 are going to leave. That one person who stays is going to be that very rare person who is okay with viciously lying and harassing on Katie. There's always one out of 1,000. There's always one that's just not going to care what happened. So that's where they're targeting. They're targeting a small group of extreme thinkers, extremist thinkers, or people with mental issues, and therefore they just are easily susceptible to lies and manipulation, and they are okay with driving away 900 if they can keep 2 of them or 10 of them. And that's the game right now. So let's keep listening.
Let's do this. My countersuit with damages is ready to go.
Look at Steve's face. Watch the body language. He gets twitchy. And then, and then he messes up and starts stuttering, because he does that every time he starts lying.
That sounds like Kyle.
Well, yeah.
You remember when Kyle was...
Yeah, damages. She has 176,000 subs and claims to make 30 grand a month.
She claims to make 30 grand a month? She's at making base 30K.
What damages? I can show financial damages.
Okay, so Steve says if you're making good... Well, he's saying if you make good money, you can't be damaged. So so Steve, if Katie didn't have you guys doing this to her, how do you know she wouldn't be making 200,000 a month or 100,000 a month instead of 30,000? That's still damages. Steve thinks that if you're +2, you're not damaged or some shit.
Well.
Oh, by the way, yeah, show him. Good point.
Well, somebody pointed out in general that on his judgment call there, he has the J and the C in red, right? And we're talking about earlier about the God King aspect. Well, JC in most places, right? The
Jesus
UK,
Christ.
Australia, the United States means Jesus Christ. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, this is, I mean, their projection is hilarious.
He called himself, for everybody who doesn't know, Steve called himself a God King. He wasn't being sarcastic or anything. He just straight up called himself a God.
Yeah, he said like the next thing he would be was a God King or whatever. And honestly, I tell you the truth, I think he sees himself that way. Like, I think he honestly sees himself this way. I don't know if Spackle agrees, but he really sees himself as this, like, arbiter of everything truthful and all this kind of stuff. So I don't, like I said.
I think he was being hyperbolic, but I also think that he still sees himself in a light that's pretty ridiculous. I do think the arbiter.
Oh, you cut out on arbiter.
Astronomically ethical, arbiter of truth, impeccable ethics, all these declarations. I'm sorry, but most good people don't have to declare that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I make the Sith joke, right? The fact that, like, the Sith are the only ones that deal in absolutes, right? And it's an aspect of going back to the aspect of like the good and evil or whatever Star Wars. But the thing is that there are only certain people that deal in absolute.
No, you're right. Spackle, this room is voice activity. You don't have to be on push to talk. So if you want to just unmute while you're talking, you can. You know.
I'm gonna flip devices. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
There's been nothing I mean, yeah, this is all. I mean, but this goes into the narrative that she puts out to her, people. That she has had no damages from me because I've just said nothing malicious. And
no damages because you've said nothing malicious. It's all over her Twitter. I just played so many malicious things that you've said. How is he lying? Is he crazy? Or, I mean, crazy means... Yeah, he's convinced himself of his lies. That would be it. That would be when I say, is he crazy? I mean, has he convinced himself of his own lies? Because you got to be crazy to do that. Or is he being deceptive? Is he trying to convince himself? What's he doing? Like, Steve.
It's either like one of those two. It's one of those two. He's either continuing to try to convince himself that he is right. And that's why he puts like the, malicious in quotes, right? Because malicious in quotes means it is subjective, right? The subjective aspect of what he did. And either he has, which in my opinion, this is just my opinion, not a doctor, he has gone full bore. I think at the beginning he was like trying to convince himself that he was right. I think now he is full bore delusional when it comes to how he sees it.
I'm not making any. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, yeah, I'm done. That's fine.
Well, I was just saying, I'm not making any judgment on his mental health. I'm saying that he is delusional in this scenario for whatever reason. It could be a million things, but he is delusional.
At least the last couple of months. Yeah.
Definitely. Now, here's how you figure this out. You go out to YouTube and watch 100 live streamers. Just skip through their shit. Find the most extreme, find the craziest, watch the most well-known, shit posting YouTubers, and ask yourself, what's the worst I'm seeing? Then go watch him. There's nothing like him. It's what I've been, when people from my audience say, why do you keep, because you guys know there would be months and months go by and we wouldn't update this story, but then we'd update it for a week or a month and then we'd go back to not, then we'd update it. Well, when I would update it, my audience would say, why do you keep updating this story, Uni? It's useless. This is why. This will be known on YouTube, especially after this lawsuit and whatever comes from it, whatever happens, as one of the most extreme situations on the platform. And people are going to look back and be like, UNIRock saw this shit from what it was in the beginning. People are going to say that because there is no one like him on the platform. They've either been banned or they've all left because they stopped making money. They've been demonetized. There's nothing like this. And I mean, Chris Chan, these are Chris Chan levels of delusion, but Chris Chan has an excuse. Chris Chan has mental problems. So when you watch Chris Chan, you feel sorry for Chris Chan because you put yourself in Chris Chan's shoes and you think that Chris Chan has a hard time thinking and things. Steve doesn't. There's only thing I can say is that this is why our parents always told us not to lie, not to grift, not to con, because if you get caught in a really extreme situation like he's in, and you decide to go full lie, full delusion, you will lose your shit. You will end up suing someone who you've harassed online by every definition of the word. You will end up doing it. Like, there's just no way around it. This dude doxed me live on a stream, asked what my age was. Is Uni 28 or 30 or some shit, or 36 or 38, something like that. But while looking at dox packets live on a stream right after a dude threatened me with my location. This dude has lost his shit on the platform. He's lost his YouTube shit.
And she is a public figure. Everything I've said is freedom of speech. I've never had anything malicious against her.
Katie needs to make sure that she takes her channel size in for every one of those statements. So her lawyers need to take the date that every statement was made and show how big her channel was, because he's not going to be able to use this public figure argument like he thinks he is.
Everything I put out has reasons for it. She has put out things against me which were malicious.
Too, is like,
Yeah, go ahead.
Is this like a is this a big shot fired to anybody that challenges him as their channel grows that they're next? I mean, he and Reds have already alluded that there's like a whole list. So like, do they start from the top of the big subs and then kind of work their way down? Because I heard Nate's next.
Well, they got to make a lot of money. You can't look. The civil case thing, you can only do it if a person makes enough money that you can take money from. Even Steve admits this when he says, I have no assets. How are you going to sue me? So he's admitted he can't go around suing people that aren't Nate or Katie size. So what do you do when you go out and attack 40 YouTubers? A couple of them are going to grow their channels out of sheer probability, and then you sit and get into these wars with them. You try to sue them so that you can say, hey, you're making $30K a month. Don't you just want to pay me $12K instead of paying a lawyer $20K or $30K to fight me? And this, I bet you when you're done watching this video, you're going to see what I mean, because the way he talks. Let's listen a little more, because you'll hear it.
Just like
it's
saying
coming up.
The TRO was filed under a VAWA, which was not. The judge did not do that. I have that confirmation from my attorney, and my lawyer said that's not possible.
Okay, so is he lying here, or what is he doing? Because yes, the RO was filed under VAWA.
Playing semantics. He's playing semantics is what he's doing. Is because I know Menace is AFK right now, but the thing is that when it comes down to the fact that he lives in a different state, okay, full faith and credit upholds one state to another state. We talked about this before.
Yeah, and that's
VAWA. VAWA is what links those harassment claims and protection claims to the full faith and credit act. So in doing so, when the judge says, yes, this is a HRO, it is a harassment restraining order, VAWA kicks in. The judge didn't have to go out and do anything special to get VAWA to kick in. It's because of the nature of the harassment order itself and the fact that he doesn't live in the same state.
Exactly.
So what he's doing is he's playing semantics to call her out and try to say that she's lying about something, when in fact it's just her lack of legal understanding that, if she said that.
No, well, and that's the problem. It's like I said earlier, as long as VAWA applies to the RO, it is Steve that's lying. If VAWA does not apply to the RO, Katie is either lying or misinformed. So he's going to say, he just told us, you see, he's preparing. He said, my lawyer told me, so that he can say, I'm not semantically purposefully lying on her because my lawyer misinformed me. Lie. Bullshit. Your lawyer did not tell you that VAWA does not apply or cannot apply or has nothing that applies to this RO. When you went to your lawyer and you said, does VAWA apply to my RO because Katie made this claim? Your lawyer said, well, yeah, it does, and explained exactly what Navy and Menace and Nate the lawyer and everyone else has said. Why? Because I fact-checked them. It's on my Twitter. I went into the damn statute. I went into the VAWA statute and read it and put it on Twitter. Whoa, Menace just gave us something here.
Spackle, have you ever looked into VAWA and all that kind of stuff? Like, I know I'm like relatively new to your channel, what you talk about, but have you looked into VAWA before?
No, I haven't. Shame on me. I should have by now. But I haven't.
Okay, hold on. We've got Steve's caught lying right here. We've caught him. Hold on. Sorry to interrupt. Okay, here's where Steve is lying. His lawyer did not tell him that VAWA did not apply to the RO. That is, his lawyer did not tell him that. His lawyer simply said this in an email response. Steve, there is no reference to the VAWA in the judge's ex parte order. That's all. Your lawyer telling you there's no reference to VAWA is not what you just said. He just said VAWA does not apply and that his lawyer explained that to him. This is not your lawyer explaining shit. Your lawyer just said there's no reference to VAWA. In my opinion, Ms. Paulson does not want to go through with a TRO hearing, but she will if we don't give her a little more in the confidentiality agreement. This proves that Katie was in charge. Katie was in control, and your lawyer was telling you that, and you lied about it in your blog. This also proves that you just lied. We're going to listen to what Steve said again. Keep in mind, all that Steve's lawyer told him is that the RO did not reference VAWA. Now listen to what Steve just said. Go ahead, Menace.
Before we do that, let's make sure we clarify something here. There wouldn't be a reference to the Violence Against Women Act because the full faith and credit is a result of the Violence Against Women Act. It's not the Violence Against Women Act law. So there would not, you would not expect, that statute has always been around. The Violence Against Women Act just said, hey, we're going to start using this on protection orders as well so that we can protect battered women and men and stuff. So they're you know, like there wouldn't be, the judge isn't going to sign a protection order and state, oh, by the way, because of VAWA, yada yada. That's not what would happen.
But it is absolutely true for Katie, me, you, anyone to say VAWA applies to the RO. Well, and that's what we all said.
Imagine it this way, right? And I think someone said this before. I don't remember who it was. We were talking about in Discord, but imagine if, for example, that I was harassing Menace for some reason, right? I don't know why, but imagine I was. And he was in the States. We're both in the States. We're both in the same state, right?
Yeah.
And he pulls out a HRO against me, and I leave the state. Right? It's a protection order.
Yeah.
And I leave the state and I go to a different state, like the neighboring state. What it does is that even if you're in the same state and you leave that state and go to a separate state, it prevents you from doing it from a separate state too.
And
it covers the entire United States.
And that's why it's there. But the point is, like, once again, what we care for is he's making a claim Katie's lying by saying that the judge applied VAWA, put it under VAWA, whatever her layman way of stating VAWA applies to my order. Steve has tried to categorize it as a defamatory lie. It is not a defamatory lie. This is why Steve is too unintelligent to handle these things and should just stop, or he's being purposely deceptive.
I think he feels like to admit that would be damaging to him. So
I agree.
He doesn't quite. Yeah,
because of the name.
Yeah,
because the name is
it'll feel like a
women.
real enforcement. Yeah, a reinforcement of it. Yep.
Exactly.
Well, the thing is, though, is that they came out and tried to say that VAWA was, defunded and all this kind of stuff. Steve came out and said, and he retweeted people that said the same thing, that it was defunded, trying to act like it didn't exist anymore.
Not that it was defunded, that it expired. They said the funding expired.
The truth of the expiration was the funding.
Oh, yeah. We get all that. Because we've went over that like 9 times. So, I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm just trying to keep us rolling because we've still got like 9. We're only 3 minutes in. But no, you're correct. And I just want to make sure that we're keeping it to the context of Katie. Once again, if Katie says VAWA applies or doesn't apply, if that's the core of what she's saying, and Steve says it's a lie, then... And he has shown the statute, he has shown VAWA, he has shown that everything we're saying about VAWA is true. He must concede that he is lying about VAWA and that VAWA does apply. Now, he won't. He will only keep saying Katie lied when she said the judge put it under VAWA because he's semantically being dishonest. And it doesn't work. It's not ever going to fucking work.
And she is a public figure. Everything I've said is freedom of speech. I've never had anything malicious against her. Everything I put out has reasons for it. She has put out things against me which were malicious, like saying the TRO was filed under a VAWA, which was not.
This is important. Listen to this.
The judge did not do that. I have that confirmation from my attorney.
He has a confirmation from his attorney the judge didn't do that, is what he said.
And my lawyer said that's
in referencing VAWA.
Not possible. That is.
His lawyer said it's not possible.
Defamation per se. That is defamation per se.
Unfortunately for Steve, when he was inebriated to a point that he doesn't remember this, I guess, the lawyer actually just said one sentence to him. There's no reference to VAWA in the judge's ex parte order. And he is semantically lying again. He's lying semantically about what his lawyer said because this is what he does. he takes these types of situations, these verbal situations, and by arguing, lying about the semantic claim he makes or someone else makes through his manipulation of what's said, he pathologically lies to morph it into what fits his agenda. It is, like Spackle and Navy said, his agenda because it's called the Violence Against Women Act. If we can argue that it applies to his RO, then he must have had an RO because of violence against women applying to him. And that sounds bad to his cult followers that only care how things sound and can't think beyond the first logical consequence. This proves it literally proves his semantic lying. Yeah, go ahead.
And for all his, like, you know, higher intelligent viewers or whatever it's called, ipso facto, right? So because of the fact that there was a protection order, restraining order put against him, he lives in a different state, ipso facto. VAWA enacts, because of the full faith and credit clause that allows it to transcend the entire United States, no matter where he goes.
I want to focus on the lawyer, though, because what he just said is that his lawyer said that it was impossible for VAWA to apply. He just said this. Globus says, Steve, if you're watching, and you are, if VAWA was not valid or applied, why did you go to court? It would not have applied to you as you live in another state. Good point, Globus. Good point. He would have just completely ignored all of this and said, I live in a different state. Her RO doesn't apply to me. Let her do what she wants. But because of VAWA, because of full faith and credit, the RO did apply to him. And because of these things he is trying to state to us are not in, and that he's trying to lie to us and say his lawyer is not validating or whatever. Now, that lawyer thing, this is what Steve's going to do one day. When his audience is so fed up, not us, we don't matter to him. When his simp audience finally says, dude, I just looked at VAWA and it 100% applied to that RO from 4 years ago, and I'm not going to send you money anymore. He's going to show them this and say, it wasn't my fault. My lawyer lied to me. That's why he shared this. Let's keep moving.
And I can prove damages.
What damages, Steve? You've been on a downward trend that's maintained its slope for years with zero change during the 1 year of silence into the NDA, and of course before that with non-sec. Yeah.
Funny story, though. If you go back and look at his analytics, when he talks about KJ and anything else, his stuff actually goes, he actually gains. So she didn't do anything to him.
He's riding, by his own logic, he's riding off of KJ's coattails.
Yeah, punching up better definitely gives him positive views for sure. I mean, you know, yeah.
Well, you punch up, and if that person grows more, and they eventually make $30,000 a month, maybe they'll give you $20K if you harass them enough. So then Menace just shows some of his statistics. What I like to do is show the statistics compared to non sequiturs so that you can see how he and Red's rhetoric hostilely tried to take over the Patreon from Kyle.
Thing is, Discovery is going to be amazing.
Watch. Now, this is really important. I'm literally going to switch to a spooky song to convey dramatic effect. Watch Steve's body language here as he goes from proud as a peacock to realizing what he just did. He tries to mask the proverbial chicken wing in his throat feeling, but, well, you just need to watch. Watch Steve's body language. It's crazy.
This means we can subpoena all social media accounts. We can truly...
You see the head snap? Did you see his head snap when he just realized, oh, fuck, she's going to subpoena all my social media accounts? I got a secret for Steve I haven't revealed on YouTube yet in just a second,
find out what was done behind the scenes to damage my reputation. I think we will...
His eyebrows just kicked, changed his glasses up, made a nervous face.
Countersue for about $500K in damages, maybe more.
Notice the body language, unnatural, non-typical body language, showing the nervousness, showing the scared feeling in the pit of his stomach when hearing $500K in damages counters.
I can't wait to see the fucking nothing.
Let me see those damages. And by the way,
let you see those damages. Go look at her YouTube views and her Patreon when you stopped fucking with her after December of 2019, and then again after the RO, and then go look at the rest of it, because that's what the judge is going to see. And the judge is going to see visible, massive growth when you're not doing this, and the judge is going to see her. Not only that, she'll be able to show nervousness, her affected behavior, because her personality is way different when you are going at her hard with your friends.
I will turn over all my Twitter, all my Facebook.
He says he's going to turn over Twitter and Facebook. Steve,
bullshit.
Well, I just want him to know. You're forgetting about Discord. You're forgetting about Kick Messenger. You're forgetting about a bunch of those other messaging services that you and Reds and your friends moved off of Discord for when you realized that your Discord stuff was getting leaked out. And you're forgetting that we know all this. We know you were using less popularly known apps because you thought, well, Kick Messenger, this is coming from someone on your side, by the way, that you guys used Kick Messenger. And now Kick Messenger, for those of you that don't know, is an app popularized by kids that use a phone or a tablet because it's got a bunch of emojis and shit. Now, I don't give a shit if you use Kick Messenger because adults use it too. My point is, notice how he specifies instead of his entire social media, he's going to hand over Twitter and Facebook, because Twitter and Facebook, that's all he uses, right? It's crazy to think that him and Red's Rhetoric use Discord, even though we've seen them advertise their Discords, and we've caught Red's using 5 Discord accounts. Reds came out and tried to prove he only had 1 and that he'd only used it for a couple things. It took a couple hours before people had shown 5 accounts Reds provably used. So these are the things they do. This is another semantic issue. Of course, he's going to hand over Twitter and Facebook because he made sure that his DMs on Twitter and Facebook after a certain time period that he went and looked up to see how long Twitter and Facebook keep those messages is clean. So they've been using other messaging services. Again, Steve, I don't think you understand how far back that a court can force Twitter and Facebook to go. That's why people hate Twitter and Facebook. They don't have privacy. They feel invaded by those services. And now courts will grab years going back. And even if you delete that shit, and it just depends. Sometimes you'll get lucky. After 3-6 months, that shit's gone when you delete it. But a lot of other times, you got to delete your entire account for that to apply. So when you got that account sitting there and it's active, they have a higher tendency. You didn't know this, Steve? You didn't know if you have more followers and are very much more active on Twitter and Facebook, it's likely that they're going to keep your messages longer than what you read when you look it up on Google. You didn't know that? Oh, damn. I'm glad you do now. But I think it's very telling that he names those specific messaging services when people have come out to state that they have had interactions with him on other messaging services.
What was done behind the scenes to damage my...
Yeah.
This is just a side note for humor, but have you noticed that he kind of looks like the lion from MGM right there?
Yeah, oh, I know. With all the stuff around him and all that, all he has to, he can go, rah, rah. That should be the intro to his videos. Like, you hit play, you get Kyle up there like, I stole your money. And then the lion, arr, arr. And then like Bugs Bunny comes in with a hammer. Yeah, it'd be funny as hell.
My reputation. I think we will countersue for about 500K in damages, maybe more.
That's
I
how it
can't wait
works.
to see the
Yeah,
nothing.
let me see those damages. And by the way, I will
let you see those damages. Aren't you going to reference the 500 fucking like the
Can we just talk
amount
about
of
the
it?
fact that? Can we talk about the fact for a moment, just a moment, that he is a grown man in his 50s who is gleeful that he has no assets, that he has achieved literally fucking nothing in his entire life that anyone can go after. I'm sorry, come on, man.
I think he's just about to say that, so here we go.
turn over all my Twitter, all my Facebook, and I have other messages that I have not released yet.
Messages he hasn't released yet. Oh, so you're hitting that secret evidence. It's almost like when he gets nervous, he calls to secret evidence or angry.
You give that shit over for free.
I think I have everything that I've ever written to anybody. My lawyers can get absolutely.
My lawyers can get absolutely. You don't have to worry about your lawyers getting that shit. Nobody's going to trust your lawyers to get it. they're going to use their social media team to go in and subpoena it, Steve, because you can just delete it and then your lawyers aren't going to show it. It's not going to be there. But if they subpoena Twitter and Facebook, it's guaranteed to be there. Go ahead, yeah.
No, I just want to remind Steve right now that I hate to tell you this, Bubba, but Reds and AT2 aren't lawyers.
Well, listen, dude. Listen. Here's the fucking deal. It is so fucking insanely obvious that he's just what he just said. His lawyers are going to come to him and then he's going to willingly hand over messages is what he thinks is going to happen because that happened in non-sec. This isn't non-sec. You are literally going not to be countersued for a business dispute. You're being countersued for harassment. And you know by that face that you're paused on right now, you know it's not going to be your lawyers getting your willing shit to hand over. It's going to be subpoenas, and they're going to be grabbing that shit. Even the shit you've deleted is going to be handed over to them. I'm being realistic. This isn't a threat. This is literal reality. This man, I truly believe due to his reaction, this man, oh my God, there it is. Who just dropped that? Janie, you gotta kill me. There it is, Steve McDoxer. This is what they made for him after he was recorded doxing me live on a stream. Anyway, though, I find it insanely obvious when he says his lawyers are going to hand over his messages that he's going to willingly give them. Motherfucker, how? That is just like, it's almost like he's so nervous about them subpoenaing Twitter, Discord, Facebook, Kick Messenger, and a couple others I won't name, that he's trying, like Signal and Telegraph and stuff, that he's trying now to insinuate this, like, oh, it's only going to be me willingly handing it over. Like, why didn't he default to a subpoena to those networks? Like, it just blows the mind. Oh, wrong spacebar.
Absolutely, and they also get what she wrote, too.
And they also get what she wrote, too. He's nervous. This is nervousness. This body language that Menace zoomed in on is on point. He is nervous here, okay? Look at that.
I'd like to play poker with him.
Oh, yeah, you'd win so much money. His cheeks are turning red, too, at the thought of a subpoena against his social media.
He has multiple tells, right? The problem is he has multiple tells. One is what you just saw here, and two is like when his voice gets higher pitched, he's fucking lying. 100%.
Definitely. And then stuttering, which Menace captures here, I believe, in just a second. You might have already shown the stuttering part.
Should I tolerate the amount of misinformation and defamation she's put out to me? No, this is why my lawyer was setting me up for a defamation suit from day one. This is why I did the NDA. This is why.
So now, guess what, guys? He entered an NDA with the intent of suing her when it ended. According to him. He didn't enter into the NDA because he didn't want to stand in front of the judge and, because he couldn't fight the evidence.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Bullshit. Oh, sorry. Allergies.
Definitely.
I did all that was to sue her for this. Now she has no countersuit whatsoever. She wants to pretend that this is fine.
Why does he keep... That's like the third time he said she has no countersuit. Bro, I just showed a perfect countersuit that I put together in 30 or 40 minutes before I started this stream. Thanks to Menace and everybody dropping links. What are you talking about? This stream alone, they could just take it and grab screenshots and play the fucking clips I played, and it's a countersuit that will win by legions. Steve bent the knee to get an NDA instead of defending the HRO against the evidence because he wanted to sue her down the road. Makes no sense. If you wanted to sue her, you would have fought the evidence of the NDA of the RO. Go ahead, Spackle.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if this would hurt him if it was to go to a jury, for instance, and just the visual of this, like.
Yes.
Like, I'm fascinated because, like, I feel like entering an NDA is a concession.
No, it is.
Is that not a concession?
It's absolutely a confession, and I'll even do what Steve can't
Not
do.
confession, concession.
It is a concession and a confession. I'll do what Steve can't do and explain why. Anyone that enters that NDA becomes restrained for a year in a more severe way than if they would have just taken the RO for 2 years. The RO would still allow him to target Katie with a good amount of YouTube response and criticism without it being a violation, though the NDA prevented him from doing he barely could even mention her name. That's why I started the say her name meme. He wouldn't do it, remember? He wouldn't say her name when I first started that meme, and I knew he wouldn't because he was scared that he'd violate and get $5,000 per instance. Now, if you've got a choice to, as him and EKC and Chesh, lie and say, Steve knew that the evidence was fake, but just didn't want to fight the evidence and just entered the NDA because, reasons that they won't say. The entering of the NDA was his dodging of standing in front of the judge debunking the evidence Katie produced. Anybody that's got this RO against them will, if they truly believe the evidence is bunk, just walk into court, take an hour out of their time, let the evidence play, and explain it. You don't even really got to do more than just explain how it's bunk. That's photoshopped. That's video edited.
Well,
that's the only thing he could say because it was all real, but
But they did give a reason. Well, Ruhith did, right? The whole idea was that, you didn't know how the judge was going to go, right? So, but the thing was, he had irrefutable evidence that what she put out there was wrong. So why would you, if it's irrefutable, there's no way the judge is going to rule against you.
Well, that's not a reason, though, because if he's saying that the judge might go with Katie, then he's admitting that the evidence isn't bunk. So...
Yes, my point.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, the signing of the NDA was his admission that he can't fight the evidence. Now, of course, after the NDA expires, he states it's a different thing. But everybody knows you just walk in and defeat the evidence and you're done. If it's bunk. So anyway.
Look, I have been in touch with Todd Chrisley. We have been communicating on this. I will admit this.
Todd Chrisley denies this.
Yes.
Yeah. Todd Chrisley denies this. He said he has not talked to Steve. Why? What happened here?
Not only did he say he didn't talk to him, he doesn't know who he is.
He doesn't even know him. He doesn't even know this guy. There's people making YouTube videos saying that Todd Chrisley and Steve are suing Katie together. I've seen the titles.
And
I've heard
I know that
the breakdowns.
Oh,
no, please go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to run into you.
Please run into. It's fine. It's the only way we can do it here. So go ahead.
I know that there's been the references to JC and all, but Todd ain't no St. Peter. Come on, I never knew him.
No, he's not. And that's the funny thing is that he's as narcissistic as the rest of them. The only problem is he has an actual platform.
I don't want Todd Chrisley coming after me, Navy. Careful. That was Navy
Oh, I'm
talking.
sorry. I'm not, everything I'm saying is that me personally. So feel free to come after me.
I'm just playing. No, I'm just playing. Chrisley.
No, the thing is,
yeah,
go ahead.
No, please.
No, I was just agreeing with you. The thing is they're birds of a feather.
Well, yeah, and look, Chrisley wants a specific thing from Katie, and it really seems like Steve was talked into doing this lawsuit. Something pushed him into doing it. Maybe it's Red's rhetoric because we see Red's out there like, yes, I'm a soy boy. So it's like, who knows?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying he did that with NSS too. He was so excited and so fucking yes, touchdown with that too. That there's something there that we're not seeing behind the scenes. Probably, you're absolutely right.
Well, yeah, there has to be, because Steve lacks something in his life, and it's lacking for a reason. And it's because of the way he treats people. People are scared to criticize him. They fear, no matter how close they are to him, that he'll turn on them and dox them and attack them like crazy forever. So, I mean, that is why they dox people like they do, Reds and Steve. You can't say it's defamation, Steve, for me to say that you dox people. I've got you video recorded doxing me. So when you video record yourself doxing me on a live stream, you're not going to get pissed and call it defamation when I talk about it. Just saying. Because I'll play the damn video.
There's recording evidence on Lulu Teapot's channel where he goes, I think that's Agrippa. And confirmation of Agrippa's doxing right there.
I had to delete immediately when I finished a stream. So I had to rob my weekly report from like 4,000 views minimum because I had to delete when this is back when I restreamed to Twitter and other places. I had to delete every DLive, Twitter, and YouTube video because Steve typed Agrippa's name in the side chat and it put it up on my screen. And me and Agrippa didn't get along then, but I wasn't going to let the man's name be in my chat. And as soon as I was told this, I deleted the living hell out of all of it. And then apologized to Agrippa that my stream was used that way. But he's done this to so many people. Like, when you get angry at people and they get doxed, every time you get angry with them, like happens with Steve and Red's rhetoric, at a point, Steve would stand up and say, I don't know which one of my buddies or enemies is doxing people every time I get mad, but it's got to stop. I'm going to find them. I'm going to ban them. I don't support it. There would be statements made to where he would disconnect himself from that happening. Now, there's a reason why he won't do that and must instead get up there and say doxing is bad form. He's been busted doxing. Reds has been busted doxing. AT2 has been busted doxing several times. Chesh has been doing it. And the point is, Dick Doxson Dawson's been doing it. They don't, even new people they team up with, he'll have people on his show and then they go out and dox. So at a point, you can't give him the charity anymore. In fact, if you try to sit and say that this isn't not just a pattern, but a pattern over years, you're lying. You're just damaging the community. You're being dishonest. So let's let this keep going, though.
You said that before.
I've said this before. She thinks she's going to outspend, Todd Crystal and his defamation lawsuit. When he files it, that's not going to happen.
All right. In my opinion, this is him saying, oh, you're not going to outspend Todd Crystal, and then trying to make excuses for why he said that, because it didn't make sense for him to say that at this moment. Let me break this down real quick.
Look,
listen again.
I have been in touch with Todd Crystal. We have been communicating on this. I will admit this.
He's talking about his lawsuit with Katie, and then brings up Crystal.
You said that before.
I've said this before. She thinks she's going to outspend, Todd Crystal.
His lawsuit with Katie the whole time. Todd Crystal gets brought up. You think you're going to outspend Todd Crystal? And then the damage control rolls in, because now he's going to try to bring up Crystal's lawsuit and act like when he brought up Crystal, he's talking about Crystal's lawsuit. I don't buy it. I think...
Well, it's because of what Crystal said. The aspect of like when he tweeted out to Reds and Steve to get in touch with his lawyers so they can join the other 3 litigants plus Crystal.
Yes.
Right.
There you go.
I mean, come on
Evidence number 1. Evidence number 1, what you said. Evidence number 2, what they said here. Evidence number 3, the fact that they're tagging Crystal like crazy, trying to suck up to him for attention. And then Crystal responds to Red's rhetoric on Twitter and Steve. Then when we notice this, Menace notices it, shows it to me, I notice it, I tweet about it, Katie retweets it. Crystal then grabs what Katie said and tries to act like he doesn't even know Steve. You don't know the man you've been talking to? That knows you well enough to sit here and say all of these personal things about your lawsuit, personal things about you. I mean, I don't buy it. I think that Steve and Crystal, I think Crystal's willing to schmooze information a little bit if it favors his lawsuit and what he does. I know Steve will pathologically and semantically lie on every word that comes out of his damn mouth. So that's what I see happening here. But I want the audience to make up their own mind, and I don't want to take away any context from Steve. So again, he's talking about his lawsuit with Katie. Crystal's mentioned for 2 seconds, and then he states Chrisley's bankrolling, blah, blah, blah bullshits. Take a listen again.
Look, I have been in touch with Todd Chrisley. We have been communicating on this. I will admit this.
You said that before.
I've said this before. She thinks she's going to outspend, Todd Chrisley.
My lawsuit? Hey, Todd Chrisley's name. You think you're going to outspend him? Yes, I carry this opinion. I'm going to carry this opinion because we're dealing with a liar. When you deal with a liar, you can never trust the words coming out of his mouth. Anything could be a lie at any point. So basically, when he gets nervous and upset and he slips up and says things, I think it speaks to the Freudian slips. I think it speaks to the real situation that's going on, because at that moment, his imagination is too busy. He's too caught up in his lie, right?
Well, he kind of fucked himself, right? And the reason I say this is because if he thought, because the idea was, based on what he's saying right now, is that Todd Chrisley is going to drain her of all of her funds. So she has no way to argue against him when it comes to his defamation lawsuit. Problem is, Todd Chrisley hadn't filed nothing, but Steb did.
And Chrisley said some things about KJP and her husband that Katie will be able to wield in court against his claim. You cannot sit there. Like, I don't get it. If they really feel confident against Katie, I don't know why they talk so much shit. I don't know why they sit and play the game so hard. You only play the game. You only talk shit when you don't have it. If you do have it, you do what Katie's doing. You go to Twitter and dump that shit. I don't see Chrisley dumping shit. No video clips. I'm not shitting on the guy. I don't see him dumping video clips or any evidence that Katie's defamed him or done anything like that. Hopefully I will find it because I want to put it on my channel if it's there. Steve has no evidence that Katie has defamed him in any way, shape, or form. Not even a single iota of evidence. And I want to give him something because I feel like if I can give Steve one thing, it can explain why he's doing this. He got overconfident with one or two little things, didn't judge or realize what he was up against. So the problem is you can search the whole of the internet. You're not going to find a single damn thing Steve's got. We've tried to look at everything he says he has. It's all lies. It's all debunkable easily. And Chrisley's just not dropping it. So maybe we will. And it would be a much better fight, I'd be able to report a much more exciting situation if Chrisley or Steve do have something against KJP, but they won't show it. Yeah.
And this question is to Holy Spackle, because Holy Spackle, like, based on like what we're dealing with now with the whole KJ Steve stuff, you are technically outside of that aspect because this is not part of your realm, right? Like the Steve stuff, maybe GDC can get it, right? All this kind of stuff, but this whole KJ Steve aspect, based on what you've seen, and I don't know how much you've seen, what do you think?
Oh God, I've seen a lot. So like on Twitter,